It's what we do, part of who we are. There is joy in work. And no matter what size your business is, the dedicated commercial team at Two Rivers Ford will find the work trucks and vans that keep your business moving. And Two Rivers is the only dealer that offers a 90-day free fleet management program that can help you save money on every single mile. The Commercial Vehicle Center at Two Rivers Ford. We work for you.
Good morning. Happy Thursday. Welcome into 104.5 The Zone. We're happy to have you. Nate Washington will be on the show, as this is the custom, at 12:30 today. He's got a doctor's appointment, so we'll wait until 12:30 to be joined by Nate. We got Robert. We got Lucas. We're with you till 1 o'clock, 615-737-1045. How you get involved if you would like to. You are more than welcome to participate also via live stream, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and on Twitch. If you would like to participate via the F&M Bank chat. Good morning, boys.
Good morning. One step closer to real, live-action football that means things to a record.
That's true. It's week 0.
Oh, I'm talking about high school football tonight. But yes, week 0 on Saturday.
Are we gonna do the high school football interviews again this year?
We're gonna bring it back. I've got Beach at Green Hill tonight on my TV 30, our kickoff for Friday Night Rivals 2025. So we'll see.
So your football season starts tonight.
Well, mine and several student athletes.
Seems very self-involved
across Tennessee and the country.
Yes, we are soon. We are soon going to be in the midst of it. I feel like it doesn't really sneak up on you because you're waiting so long for football, actual meaningful football, to finally arrive, and then when it's here, you just drown in it. Whether it's high school, college, week 0, NFL, not that far away. We just have a few more exhibition games to get through with the Titans on Friday night, and then we can actually start to talk about Denver, which I'm very much looking forward to, not just because I enjoy that trip, but because that's a fun matchup, a tough matchup, but a fun matchup between the Titans and the Broncos in week 1. As we get ready for real football, though, there is one person in the world of college football that can't seem to stop talking. Now, normally, you might assume that I'm referring to Diego Pavia because Diego Pavia has had a lot to say this offseason, the Vanderbilt quarterback, and that's all well and good. And we've enjoyed the Diego Pavia experience. But, Lucas, the only reason that I would dare detract from Diego Pavia, or rather the experience, is because of what else it's going to create, which is other versions of him that are less, shall we say, charming, like Thomas Castellanos, the Florida State quarterback, that can't seem to shut the hell up. Now, I may be just a grouchy old man at this point in time because, I'm somebody who interviews players for a living, who goes to press conferences for a living. It's more interesting when they say things that are on their mind as opposed to being guarded with it. But at some point, when you're playing for a program, when you're transferring from a program like Boston College to a program like Florida State that went through one of the worst college football seasons I can remember in quite some time for a program that's had some level of relative expectation, what am I to do with the Florida State quarterback that just can't seem to shut the hell up?
Well, we're going to hear from Thomas Castellanos, and many people remember his comment from earlier in the offseason that Nick Saban can't save Alabama now as Florida State gets ready to host Bama to open up the season in week 1.
Smart.
And he's saying new things in front of the media, but how are we going to praise the moxie and swagger of Diego Pavia, saying that he hates those mother bleepers talking about Tennessee and that the standard is for Vanderbilt to win a national championship and all of these things, and that he's the best quarterback in the world, and then turn around and bash Thomas Castellanos for saying similar things about himself and his football team? That doesn't add up to me. Let's hear from Thomas Castellanos talking about Florida State's defense as he is facing it in practice to prepare for that Alabama defense.
Oh yeah, I think Coach White and our defense is the hardest defense I'll see all year. Just schematically and stuff like that, what they do. It's hard to be back there and a lot of moving parts on their end. But it's helped me a lot and helped me be better and helped me progress as a quarterback and as a player, and when to just take the check down or when to just eat it or throw it away and stuff like that, and know when the play is over. So I think that deep, like seeing them every day for the last 3 weeks has helped me a lot and progress as a quarterback.
Now, it's not inflammatory. It's not, bombastic.
Yeah, not nearly as inflammatory as the last time he talked.
Nick Saban can't save them.
Yeah.
Which is a delightful line. But I'm not going to agree with Diego Pavia at every turn that way, I think is where you may have mischaracterized.
No. You mischaracterized. I don't agree with Diego Pavia. To agree with Diego Pavia would be to say that, yes, Vanderbilt is a national championship contender this year.
Okay, let me rephrase. I don't agree with the behavior of Diego Pavia at every turn.
Oh, you don't appreciate him saying these things?
I appreciate it to an extent, but after a while, it's going to become tiresome when they start to lose.
Well, what he's doing is just providing bulletin board material for every team Vanderbilt faces this season.
Fine. And I am allowed to be more in favor of a local person doing this because we are in local sports talk, and it is more interesting. Vanderbilt hasn't had a pulse basically the entire 5 years that we've been on the air. You know what I'm saying? Like, for Vandy to do something that is unlike basically anything else you've ever seen in college football, which is hosting Alabama and upsetting them, I do think that you can do this thing by degrees. But I'm also going to get tired of Diego Pavia if he keeps talking, but he can't back it up.
Sure. No, that's totally fair. And we'll see what this looks like with Thomas Castellanos. Florida State is just a fascination to me generally this year because to go from being the ultimate college football playoff snub, undefeated ACC champ, to the bottoming out, arguably, not even arguable, they were the worst Power 4 team in college football. It wasn't close at 2-10 last year. And they pilfer the portal more than any other team in terms of the amount of turnover. And it bottomed out for them last year. We talk about the comparison to the NFL. If you try to build a team in free agency the way the Titans did last year, it's a risky play. It doesn't often work to make you highly competitive. I think the same goes for college football when your primary method of talent acquisition is in the portal instead of that foundation built in recruiting, as hard as that is to maintain these days. Well, they've done it again. Mike Norvell basically addressed almost every position on the roster via the transfer portal, and he brought in Gus Malzahn to call the offense. Thomas Castellanos comes over from Boston College to Florida State. So they're kind of this wild card team in 2025, and they open with the team that, in my opinion, is going to win the SEC championship in Alabama. That game's in Tallahassee. So it's a sneaky fun week one game. It's hard to say that any Alabama game is like an under-the-radar week one matchup, but there's a lot of great games between national championship contenders in week one. But that 2:30 kickoff on ABC, Alabama at Doak Campbell Stadium to play Florida State, has been made much more interesting because of what Thomas Castellanos is saying, like Florida State's defense is the hardest he'll see all year right before facing Alabama. I appreciate it. I like what it's doing in the build-up to week one.
Robert, you are the closest thing to expertise we have in the WWE department.
And he's our ACC truther as well.
Okay, so this is a double whammy in terms of your ability to bring expertise to the conversation. Why is everybody trying to turn this into professional wrestling? I'm delighted by it to an extent, but there does seem to be a tact that people are taking as far as cutting promos on one another before the college football season begins. Am I incorrect in this?
I don't think you're incorrect, but I also think controversy sells. And the way that you create a good professional wrestler, whether that is a good guy or a bad guy, is born inherently out of being able to sell something, right? So all these college football players, they're trying to sell the fact that I am the quarterback and we are a good team, which I'm sure boosters and people that are trying to get money for the organization or university rather are enjoying. Because if you have a quarterback who, for lack of a better term, or at least I can't come up with one right now, having a lot of pomp and circumstance about themselves, like, oh, Florida State, we're going to bounce back. I had to put some confidence in these guys after a 2-10 year. That's what I want to hear if I'm an AD, if I'm a booster, if I'm giving my money to a university, if I have season tickets. I want to hear these things. Damned what happens in the season because you already have my money. I want our team to be confident now. Now, if it's another team and you paid a lot of money for a quarterback and the team's kind of sucks and he comes out there and goes, we're just going to go out there and do our best and hope that we can win some games for the good old you, I would be like, no, I don't want you to say that. I want you to say that we're going to be the best. I want you to say that we can win it all and we can beat the best. So I'm not opposed. But I can see the parallels between professional wrestling and...
Well, I guess, I'm not opposed. You know what I'm saying? I'm not opposed at all because it gives us something to talk about. And to your point, that creates interest. There is no other reason to be interested in Florida State. There is no other reason to be interested in Vanderbilt other than it's down the road. I'm talking about just generally from a college football world consuming standpoint. Those two programs have to go out there and show that they're not, that Florida State is more or can be more than the worst Power 4 FBS program in football last year, and that Vanderbilt actually deserves to be talked about as a team that is more than a program that's never been ranked in a preseason top 25 ever in its history, correct? And he's never made it into a preseason top 25.
Yes, which I was relatively surprised to hear, but yes.
More surprised that Texas has never been preseason number one?
Ooh, now the Texas thing is more surprising.
I would agree.
For sure.
So it's a fine line here, but I also, I think that it is going to create, and maybe it's added to the list of things that I'm pretty mad about. I think that it's going to create more of a trend in this direction where people are trying to raise their university's profile, their team's profile, but also their individual profile by being one of the few players in the world of college football that gets to get in front of a microphone and sell.
Not only did he say back in June,
there's quotes everywhere, Lucas.
Well, it's in the same quote.
Enough time.
It's in the same quote. He said they don't have Nick Saban to save them. He also said, I just don't see them stopping me. Just don't see a scenario where they can stop me.
Well, what I'm saying is every time he gets to the podium, like his press conferences are filled with these kind of things. I'm the best I've ever been is something that he also said yesterday when it made available to the media. And there's nothing wrong with belief in self, but I'm trying to discern whether he is just trying to gas himself up at a podium or if he is capable of backing up all of this talk, because Boston College was frisky, but didn't he get benched?
Well, he's a good player. I think he had some issues with Bill O'Brien at Boston College.
He wouldn't be the first, so you can give him some grace there. Bill O'Brien, not an easy person to deal with.
Yeah, he struggled in 2023. In 2024, he played in 8 games, threw 18 touchdowns to 5 interceptions in those 8 games. He can run the football. He was a 1,000-yard rusher in the 2023 season. He's a dynamic player, and he's got Gus Malzahn, who can put him in a good position at Florida State. I'll be very intrigued by this week 1 kickoff between Alabama at Florida State, and he's a big reason for that now.
So we got K-State and Iowa State in Dublin, which will highlight week 0. What's it called? Farmageddon? Is that the name?
Farmageddon? Good job. Wow.
Hey. I did a little research on college football. Come on now.
Well, shocked by that.
On the way out, you're going to have to start doing more wrestling on more research on pro wrestling.
No chance.
Did you see the deal that was done?
We're 5 years in. You just got me to college football. Let's not get nuts.
Well, you brought the wrestling comparison up. Unabroached. I didn't even talk about this in pre-show meeting. You just naturally came.
Because I didn't get here until 10 o'clock.
Well, that's fine. I'll be that as it may. Did you see the deal that got struck between ESPN and WWE yesterday?
I think I might have seen a push notification, but I didn't read through it.
ESPN reached a multi-year agreement with WWE by making ESPN's direct-to-consumer streaming service the exclusive home for WWE premium live events starting in 2026. But they will have a live event happening September 20th, WrestlePalooza, the first of its kind. Ugh. It will be on ESPN. So get ready for wrestling to start making its way into your ESPN coverage.
I don't like WrestlePalooza as a name.
Yeah, me either. I feel like it's very 80s, 90s. Like they should have brought back something like Bash at the Beach or like a cool pay-per-view name that has been defunct since then.
Is it just like movies? Are we just out of ideas to come up with cool names for stuff?
I don't know. I think it's a lot of people that are detached making these ideas. Like, look, the kids will love WrestlePalooza. Don't they go to Lollapalooza every year? They'll love WrestlePalooza.
Fresno State at Kansas, Stanford at Hawaii, Sam Houston at WKU, so just up the road there in Bowling Green. They're getting their college football season underway over the weekend. I don't know which game I'm most interested in. I suppose I'm interested to see whether the crowd in Dublin cares about K-State, Iowa State more than anything.
Ranked matchup.
It's going to be okay. So also, speaking of things that are overhyped for the purposes of selling, how many of these will still be ranked matchups, or is it just the opportunity to put teams in a preseason poll and say, oh, look, ranked matchups everywhere based on the preseason poll? It's not going to matter in 2 weeks.
It's not unfair for Kansas State and Iowa State to be ranked, if that's what you're asking, 2 returning quarterbacks that are looking to push for a Big 12 championship this year. Big 12's wide open. Those 2 teams are going to be right in the mix. Avery Johnson at K-State, Rocco Becht at Iowa State. But, yeah, of course. I mean, Florida State was a top 10 preseason ranked team last year. Georgia Tech beats them in Ireland in week 1 or week 0, and Georgia Tech gets to tout a top 10 win all season because they beat a 2-10 Florida State team. So, yeah, it has its flaws for sure. But Iowa State, K-State deserve to be ranked.
Well, we'll see what kind of flaws the University of Tennessee has throughout the course of the season. But what we do know is that they've settled on a quarterback. You'll hear from Josh Heupel and Joey Aguilar, the new Vols quarterback, coming up next.
It is just after 10 o'clock, but it's never too early to start thinking about where you're going to go for lunch. Hey, it's Lucas. I would never lead you astray when it comes to food. It's probably the most important decision of my day, and that decision is usually Hattie B's Hot Chicken. It's the best hot chicken in the world. It's hand-breaded, cooked to order, add your spice level, hot or not, and it's made with love, just like the sides. And if you're like me, those are very important. The southern greens, the pimento mac and cheese, you simply can't go wrong. Top it off some banana pudding, some peach cobbler, which, if you download the Hattie B's app today, you can get a free dessert simply by doing so. Just download the app, start to build up those rewards, order for pickup or delivery. Hattie B's has 7 locations across Middle Tennessee, and you can find it at Nissan Stadium while watching Titans-Vikings this Friday or at any Titans home game this season. Add it to your tailgate. Go to HattieB.com for catering for them to fuel your watch party or tailgate this football season, and go to Hattie B's today.
Welcome back to the show. Fueled by Hattie B's Hot Chicken, the best hot chicken in the world. Now, far be it from us, or for us, to have wandering eyes from our hot chicken sugar mama. But Lucas has been distracted by something that he finds thoroughly delightful on Mike Golick Jr.'s timeline. You want to tell people what just had you literally salivating in the studio here?
Just top of my timeline, Mike Golick Jr. reviewing the new Wendy's Baconator Cheez-It, giving it a 9.17 out of 10. The
Hold
caption, I know.
I need to know, is the bun the Cheez-It?
No. It's not a sandwich.
The whole shebang.
It is a Cheez-It flavored.
Yeah.
Or it is a Baconator flavored Cheez-It.
Yeah, like, you can get like the hot Cheez-Its or the white cheddar Cheez-Its. That is the flavor of the Cheez-It.
Sometimes we wonder so hard if we can, and we don't ask ourselves if we should.
Well, Golick says they packed an insane amount of flavor into this little square, and the smell was intoxicating. A unique and welcome addition to the Cheez-It catalog, he says. I'm in.
I mean, that's not a high bar for you to be in on something that's edible or even remotely close to edible.
Now, see, I thought Cheez-Its were just baked cheese. Like they have a big sheet of cheese and all of the concoctions they've mixed.
No, they're like crackers, aren't they?
Well, yeah.
They are, but like if you want to make your own Cheez-Its at home, it is just literally a piece of cheese.
Right.
Like,
Woke up feeling cheesiest. Like it's all about the cheese.
So like I'm wondering how
Doing a
they
spot? Chill out.
Do I want to what?
No, I said, what are you doing, a live spot? Relax.
But how the hell they do this? They just grind up a bunch of Baconators and then put them out.
Listen, I'm not saying
Grind up a bunch of bacon.
I'm not saying that it's getting out of hand. I'm just saying I'm along for the ride.
Okay.
How do we get these? Are they out yet, or are they just
I think
available
so.
to people with a lot of
I
affluent
think they're at your local
friends?
supermarket.
Well, Golick Jr. is doing a lot of food reviews on TikTok.
Yeah, it's his thing.
Which is probably why he may have an advanced copy of the Baconator flavored Cheez-Its.
I'll see if I can DoorDash us some.
Okay.
Oh, please.
Now, along for the ride. Is Joey Aguilar along for the ride at the University of Tennessee this year, or will he be in the driver's seat? Well, he is in the driver's seat. He's the starting quarterback. And Josh Heupel, who spoke for the first time, I believe, since naming Joey Aguilar the starting quarterback, explained why at the podium. And as is the custom for Josh Heupel, it was pretty succinct.
Coming in May, having to learn the offense. I think, Joey coming in May, having to learn the offense throughout the, late spring, summertime, getting his, feet on the grass with our guys, learning how we practice, but also growing each day, just continued to trend upward in his comfort and control and command of what we're doing. That's decision-making, accuracy with the football, our checks that he controls. You put all that together, and that's ultimately why we made the decision.
All right. Not
As upbeat as ever at the podium.
Sounds like he really likes this kid. I don't know about you guys, but they may have a player on their hands.
He's got to be the most deliberately monotone coach in a press conference setting that's around right now at the P4 NFL level. Like, what is there a head coach that is more just that flips that switch so intentionally boring at the podium?
I don't know. I mean, I can't pretend to have watched a ton of college football press conferences here lately. Like Saban obviously would go viral because he would just spin out.
Oh, he said awesome stuff
at any given moment.
Saban was awesome.
Kiffin is dry.
He is.
So I wouldn't say I wouldn't categorize him as deliberately monotone. Like, I just think that's his cadence.
I mean, a little bit. But like 95% of Kiffin pressers are dreadfully boring. But then every once in a while, he'll just drop something in that, like you said, dry, very monotone voice that makes headlines. But
we have not heard the man who is famous for this in the NFL give a college football press conference yet, but Bill Belichick, I can only assume would be similar.
That's right.
Press conference.
I don't know. He's got a whole new PR team.
Well, yeah, I actually meant to bring that up. Did you guys see the release that came out yesterday that Bill will not be doing post-game press conferences? Instead, it will be his girlfriend, Jordan, who will be answering questions from the
Yes, Jordan. What do you have to say about the third down defense today?
No way is that how it's actually said.
How it's spelled.
What is that?
Who puts an O? I mean, come on. D-O-N at the end. Anyway.
Jordan.
We're just going to start calling everyone's name phonetically. Lucas. Lucas.
Well, that's fitting.
I've been there.
Lucas. Lucas.
Oh, haven't heard that one before.
That boy got a fatty.
Let's hear from Joey Aguilar on his improvement from scrimmage 1 to scrimmage 2 and how he felt like that factored into him winning the job.
From 1 to 2, definitely felt more comfortable. Going out there and running it completely live was different. Running in practice is like kind of different than going to scrimmage and game time speed. So definitely got a better grasp of it second week of camp. I was in there spending more time in film and trying to get all the keys of details of plays and certain reads and the specifics like that.
You went through the install a couple times before camp was here, but did anything in camp kind of maybe surprise you about the offense, like the tempo, or maybe you weren't expecting from the install to actually going out there and doing it?
I would say the only thing I really had to adjust to was the tempo of the offense. I was somewhat in 2023, and I wouldn't say it as tempo as this, but we were pretty on the ball, just not as fast. So just getting used to getting the signal and lining up and going through my progressions was just the adjustment I had to make.
I can run and I can hide, but I can't escape Eric Kane's voice. That's Joey Aguilar, the Vols starting quarterback. So, 14 games as a starter in 2023, 11 games as a starter in 2024. He's got experience, and they feel comfortable enough giving him the reins here. Now, how much above and beyond the call of duty, instead of just being like a passenger princess to a Tennessee defense and running game, as have previous quarterbacks, because that's the most effective way or the most efficient way for Tennessee to win games. If you can't outright lean on the quarterback to win you games, and last year was a perfect example.
Yeah. Flashes of that ceiling from Nico, but they had to lean on the defense and the run game. The thing that Tennessee's trying to do, that they have tried to do, that is so hard to do in college football now, is map out a plan at the quarterback competition, or at the quarterback position, I should say. You rewind to what they did initially coming in, bringing in Joe Milton, and then Hendon Hooker gets the job. Okay. And then once they secured the commitment of Nico Iamaleava, you could look down the road and you could see Hendon Hooker's our guy now. Joe Milton's waiting in the wings. He's going to start next year while Nico redshirts. And then it'll be Nico's job, and you go from there. Well, that blew up in their face with Nico obviously leaving after a year. And so now here they are resetting this quarterback plan with Aguilar kind of taking Nico's place. Merklinger and McIntyre are still there. So it shifts to Aguilar, McIntyre, or Merklinger, which early indications are that this coaching staff really likes George McIntyre and what he showed throughout the course of fall camp, maybe a little more so than Jake Merklinger. And obviously Faison Brandon coming down the line, the 5-star quarterback, who will be a freshman next year, but ideally one of those two guys can start next year while Brandon waits in the wings, and then he can take off in 2027 and beyond. But it's so hard to just keep that together, right? Like, how many times have we seen that blow up in a school's face? The only school I can think of that's done it efficiently and done it in a way that they don't constantly lose guys or it gets disrupted right now is Georgia, who has gone Stetson Bennett to Carson Beck to Gunnar Stockton. And Carson Beck, ended up leaving Georgia last year. We thought he was going to leave anyway, but to go to the draft, not to go to the transfer portal. So we'll see if they can keep it together in the future, something that's really hard to do nowadays. But Joey Aguilar is just, let's see if he can be the steady hand in 2025 and elevate this offense in any meaningful way. I do have one concern, though, that we didn't talk about. I thought about it a lot when the Adidas deal came down, because would we call it a trend now of what's happened with some high-profile Tennessee players when it comes to Nico leaving, the Boo Carter just fiasco, the issues they had with James Pierce Jr. last year? Is it worth calling a trend that Tennessee, year in and year out, it feels like this offseason in particular, there's just this drama?
Has malcontents around the money.
Yeah, exactly. And it's not just those guys. Like, they had to fight to keep Ricky Gibson on campus in spring and Mike Matthews. And they're not the only program dealing with that. Obviously, the Nico thing was probably the biggest headline-grabbing example of that, of a quarterback leaving his program to go through the portal.
That's the biggest story in the college football offseason.
It was.
It's impossible to ignore the scale of that specifically, given the profile of the player, the profile of the university, that they were college football playoff participant last year.
But tell me what you think of this concern. Like,
yeah,
I want to pose something to you because I have a theory for this. Because Tennessee's got all this money coming in with Adidas.
That's fine, but before you do that, you're not allowed to accuse me of getting pre-mad about something if you're posing the question to me.
If I'm posing a question.
What does that
even mean? I don't even know what you're trying to say.
I feel like I'm being lured into a trap.
You're getting really bad at deflecting nowadays.
I think I'm getting excellent at it.
Some parameter Cheyenne would say, you can't be mad at me for being gassy if you're going to make beans for dinner. Like, what do you mean? Hold your farts, ladies.
So, but just hear me out here.
It's way too much information.
Tennessee's got all these resources. We understand they're in a good place in NIL. It'll be even better. Tennessee allocates a higher percentage of those NIL resources to players coming out of high school than they do the portal. They don't do what Ohio State did last year of going and getting, the running back from Ole Miss, Caleb Downs, the safety from Alabama, spending all this money in the portal to build a super team that's, supplementary to a foundational talent profile of a roster, but still spending that money in the portal. Tennessee allocates more of that into recruiting. My theory and concern is that players are coming out of high school and coming into Tennessee at this high price point, and that's this baseline. And then every year that goes by, they believe that they have the leverage, and oftentimes they do, to make that price point even higher and higher and higher, as opposed to making those big splashes in the portal to players that are already established that you will get for a year, maybe two, that don't have as many opportunities to leverage their position over and over and over again. Because when you look at everyone this has happened with Tennessee, it's Nico, who came out of high school on that huge deal, Boo Carter, who we know was making money coming out, James Pierce Jr., all guys that were recruited out of high school by Tennessee.
Yeah. It's
just something that I wonder if that is something that is any sort of underlying reason for why this kind of thing continues to seem to happen.
Well, I mean, and it's not even Tennessee specific, but like the way that I would read that is, well, then you're not even in the conversation around these kids in high school. If you don't come in with a Will Wade strong-ass offer type of circumstance, so you remove yourself from the conversation. If you're creating a bidding war around high school players, as is currently the environment in college sports, not just college football, but college football, the most high-profile example of that, then why wouldn't they, as players and people who are taking advice, players who are taking advice from people with business interests around the players, why would they not think that they should be able to increase their value year over year? I mean, in the same way that anybody with any kind of leverage would, I mean, in a contract situation, like, I would like to contractually negotiate an annual raise. Even if I have no idea if I'm going to be better next year than I am this year. Likely not in my specific example, but like, I want a contractually negotiated raise because you're having me commit to you for a period of time, no less than 3 years. So I want to make sure that my value, which I know, or which I'm pretty sure and I'm confident in, is going to increase year over year over year. I want to be fairly compensated for that. That's how people, and I assume that this is not a problem exclusive to Tennessee. It's just Tennessee has had one huge nationally covered story like this, and then other situations with which Vols fans are going to be particularly attuned to. So I don't want to describe it as a trend specific to Tennessee, other than it's a trend specific to college recruiting or high school recruiting.
Yeah, and Tennessee, just in particular, allocates a lot of NIL money towards high school recruiting because they're trying to build that foundation through high school recruiting, which is...
What's the alternative, I guess, would be my count.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose the alternative is more in that Ohio State range, which Ohio State puts money into high school recruiting. They also go heavy into the portal. In Tennessee, what's the biggest splash move Tennessee's made in the portal in the Heupel era? I don't know. I mean, Milton, because he's a quarterback.
Yeah, but even then, that was
right. So, I don't know. It's a theory. Brandon on the F&M Bank chat says, I don't remember Pierce's issues being money-related. Boo just seems like a problem child in general, and Nico's situation is a little bit different. So, I could be overthinking it, but it's something that struck me.
No, but it's not. I'm sure it's an observation that other people have had or a thought that's crossed other people's minds, but I'm certain that it's not exclusive to Tennessee.
Yeah.
We just happen to be hyper-fixated for obvious reasons on Tennessee.
Like Faison Brandon will come in here as a 5-star, and let's say he redshirts his freshman year, and then he pops his sophomore year. He'll have all the leverage in the world to demand double what he's getting paid. Like the thing with Nico was...
I'd advocate that he should.
Right. And the thing with Nico was, okay, but you weren't good enough to demand what you're demanding, right? Like you don't have as much leverage as you think you do.
We were pulling you along. You were not pulling us along.
Right. So, and then there's Joey Aguilar, who comes in reportedly making over $1 million. This is his last year of college football. You don't have to worry about that with him. And we'll see how much Aguilar can elevate this offense, if he can do more within the constraints of the offense than Nico could, if he does less, if it's about the same, and they're once again leaning on the defense in the run game, which I do believe will be there. I think it's the deepest running back room they've had in the last couple of years at Tennessee. It'll be by committee, and I think defensively that standard will be similar, even if they lose some parts and pieces there. The quarterback is the X factor there, and you don't have to worry about Joey Aguilar having a great season and then, okay, double it or I'm out, because his eligibility's up. And you move on to McIntyre, Merklinger, and Faison Brandon. But then that cycle can start back. And it's an infuriating thing, not just, I'm sure, for coaches on staff, but for the college football fan, too, who gets excited about the 5-star freshman. But also, odds are that 5-star freshman won't be around in the next couple of years with the way college football is going.
I mean, it's super disruptive. But, like, I have a hard time sympathizing there, because of how skewed things have been in the opposite direction. And there is no question that this is an overcorrection in favor of athlete empowerment and monetization. But it's been like this for 100, or it was the complete opposite of this situation for 100 years prior. Like, I don't really care that they're making because I'm not invested in a program this way, and I'm not a college football coach, it's easy for me to look around and be like, yeah, so what? Like, let them make a mess of it if they want to, because they are course correcting what has long been and made official by the Supreme Court of the United States unconstitutional. And I know that's an overarching theme that I can apply to a lot of this stuff, but I just think it's a damned if you do, damned if you don't. You're paid enough money, figure it out. Like these are multi-billion-dollar, multi-million, but if you take the collective of college football, billions and billions of dollars being made in this situation. I think that you should have enough wherewithal to have a better plan than this, other than the blind leading the blind. Now, I understand that there are way more meta issues at the top of collegiate athletics that are being left to governing bodies that aren't capable of doing this, it seems, and that we're still in the infancy phase, even though it feels like 100 years that we've been having to deal with this specific problem or having to adjust to new things year over year over year. I get the frustration in that, but I don't know. I think it's okay that they're still feeling this out on the athlete side of things, even if it's the expense of the fan base and the coaching psyche.
All right, well, Joey Aguilar, come on down. Let's see what happens.
I can proudly say, guys, that football is back, because disagreements in the chat are leading to someone saying that someone's father should have wore a prophylactic. I cannot say how excited I am that football is back, because we are disagreeing. We are saying you should not exist. I love it. I love it. I love it.
Here we are.
Up in a napkin and being tossed around.
Yeah, all that good stuff.
Good. Let the hate flow through you. Football back. Who doesn't need to play for the Titans on Friday? We'll talk about it next. Welcome back to the show. Fueled by Hattie B's Hot Chicken. Watch out, football right around the corner. Friday night at Nissan Stadium. Weather today is very, very, it feels a bit fall-esque outside. Now, I know that there's, what's the name of the hurricane that's rapidly making its way towards the United States of America at this point in time? There's one, which is probably the reason why it feels the way that it does outside. We're going to get some after effects. Hurricane Aaron.
Oh, that would make sense. It's the first one.
What do you mean? I'm unfamiliar with how they name the hurricanes.
AARON? They name them in alphabetical order.
No, it's E.
Oh, okay. So it's like
ERIN.
Seventh one.
All right. I didn't know that they went in alphabetical order with the hurricanes that way.
They cycle through.
Yeah,
every year.
Very good.
What was the one that one of the hurricanes last year was a name that just isn't a name?
Oh, I don't know.
That like
you're gonna have to look it up.
Yeah,
a name that isn't a name. How do you know?
Like it's just a name.
You were critical of Jordan.
Was it Beryl? BERYL?
Yeah, I think that was it.
No, BERYL. That's a name.
I mean, technically, anything is a name. Didn't Michael Jackson have a baby named Blanket?
Yes.
We had a hurricane named Blanket yet? And we had a hurricane named Bert yet. I know we've had a Robert.
Yeah, Bert is better than Beryl. Nobody's named Beryl.
I feel like
Find me a human named Beryl.
Well, they're probably
not Daryl.
They probably all died out in the 1800s, but I'm thinking that there's probably somebody out there with a great grandpa Beryl.
Ooh, there has I had a grandpa Dole. Like DOYLE.
How did you say it? I thought you meant like Dole, like the fruit juice.
No, like his name was not. They didn't say Doyle.
Your North Carolina showing.
They said Dole.
Dole.
And every conversation you had with him was Dole.
Would there be a less intimidating hurricane name than Hurricane Lucas?
A hurricane.
Like, why does that hurricane feel like it's wearing glasses?
Hurricane.
They're blue light glasses, okay?
Tropical depression.
Screens give me headaches sometimes.
Either way, I know football season's right around the corner because I just got my full season worth of parking passes and my credentials. So we're ready to rock for Friday at Nissan Stadium. Looking forward to that. Hope to see many of you guys out there. Hopefully, what's the forecast look like for Friday night? I know you're going to be here in studio, chained to the console as you host pre and post.
Forecast is high of 88, low of 68.
Beautiful.
It'll be nice.
Beautiful for a football game. 7 o'clock.
7:04.
Yeah, that will be nice.
All right, Titans Radio on the air, and that will be a great time had by all. But because it's a preseason game, not everybody's going to play, and people will play in limited capacity. Who definitively does not need to play in preseason game number 3? Should we take the players who have just not played in the preseason altogether off the table? So that's Kevin Zeitler, that's Jeffrey Simmons,
Sneed,
L'Jarius Sneed,
Cush.
I mean, I frankly would be a proponent of Sneed,
but he's
playing,
not going to.
But he's not going to.
Cushenberry likely won't. Would be surprised. I mean, he's been in team drills. Is there any shred of a chance that Cush gets a series?
I would be surprised. Now, he dressed on Friday night in Atlanta and went through individual and, went through some contact stuff. I think he was just like looking to not just put on the pads, but like go out there and like fake hit somebody because they go through the offensive line, defensive line warm-ups in the end zone prior to the game's beginning, and then obviously didn't play. I can follow up on that because it wasn't specifically asked of Brian Callahan or Nick Holtz. But I wouldn't be totally against it. I don't know. It depends on how he's feeling physically after a week back at practice, right? Because now he's had a full week at practice. So pending his physical, is there any great need for him to play? I would probably argue not.
I also feel like, I personally don't feel like I need to see Calvin Ridley out there.
No, I'm good.
Yeah, like the risk reward there.
I'd much rather see. I don't need to see Lockett play. I don't need to see Ridley play. I
want to see Cam again surrounded by Ellick, Gunnar Helm,
and Van Jefferson. I'd give Van Jefferson another opportunity to go out there and earn it, right? Because there's no sure things on the roster at this point in time, other than that they have a glut of mid to below average wide receivers that they need to figure out who are the 6 or 7 that they want to roll into at least the initial 53-man roster with.
And then Jeff, who says, he wants to play if his number's called. Doubt we'll see him.
I don't need to call Jeff's number.
Yeah. Has he ever played in the preseason?
He wouldn't have his rookie year because he was hurt.
Yep, coming off the ACL. Vrabel generally wasn't rolling a lot of his high-profile guys out there.
Yeah, because we didn't have preseason games in 2020, right?
Oh, I guess not. Yeah, I mean, Jeff said the other day with the media, I don't know the last time I played a preseason game. I don't know that he ever has, so it'd be surprising to see him out there.
I don't think he has, but I don't know that to be fact. Either way,
and Sweat likely not, I suppose.
Yeah, Sweat hasn't practiced. It's been about a month and a half.
I mean, is there a point where we have to start thinking about his availability for week 1?
No, I don't think that they're having that conversation. I think they built in about a month for this tonsil procedure, and that anything beyond that, I mean, he's recovering from the abdomen issue. I don't know if that's still something that would keep him out, but I think is it a tonsillectomy is what he had? I can't remember exactly the nature of the procedure. It was a tonsil procedure.
Just get him removed, right?
Or they added one.
Yeah, I was going to say, what other procedure do you have on your tonsils other than getting them out?
What are tonsils?
It's kind of like your appendix. Nobody really knows.
You don't really need it.
Yeah. Just kind of like earlobes. What
just
are they
something
for?
that can get
What's
infected.
That little
just
punching
a
bag looking thing in the back of your... No, that's not right. Surely
okay.
not.
You want to bet? How much money? Throw some money on it.
Lunch.
Okay, deal.
How do you spell that? That sounds like something that's a part of the female anatomy. Surely not.
What's the dangly thing in the back of your throat? It's called
It's a uvula, isn't it?
Oh, that's what I just said. Thank you for lunch. I don't need to see Tony Pollard in the preseason game.
No, I'm good on that
like
too.
with Spears already having an injury, the absolute worst thing that could happen would be him getting stepped on, him getting rolled up on, and then now Tony Pollard is also in question for week 1, and Chestnut and Mullings would be your number 1 running back.
And they're still battling it out, Chestnut and Mullings.
Yeah, for sure. And Tajay Spears, lack of availability. Will he be on the initial 53-man roster? We don't know. Could they put him on? PUP or could they? I mean, I suppose an injured reserve stint shouldn't be out of the question with a high ankle sprain, but that remains to be seen. And they'll have at least a decent amount of time. They'll have the better part of a month for him to be physically able to go, or as close to physically able to go as humanly possible. So I'm good on Pollard too. Defensively, I think I'm okay with no Cody Barton.
Yeah, let Cedric Gray and James Williams get out there without Cody Barton. Yeah, that one's coming down to the wire, it feels like.
And I think I'm okay without Amani Hooker, because you've got guys on the back end of the roster. And listen, Amani hasn't been great. Now, I wouldn't accuse them of having a great secondary around him, but there have been some times where he's got a guy in coverage or where he's getting beaten coverage. Both in joint training camp practices and a couple of instances in these preseason games that, I mean, I don't want to read too much into things because Amani Hooker has historically been a good to above average player here, but just something to keep an eye on.
Tonsils are part of the immune system, and they help protect the body from infection by trapping bacteria and viruses. So they're kind of a filter.
Okay. That seems like it would be a way more critical thing than an appendix.
It's just a thing. It's like house money. It's great to have. If you don't, you'll be all right.
Like pinkies.
I feel like you would be
or kidneys.
If you lost a pick. Well, I guess you could still grip, but then you'd have like this weird like Edward Scissorhands grip. If you
do
didn't
you
have
know
a pinky.
what insurance wise, what the most valuable part of the human body is? Like, say you got hurt on your job and you lost this body part. What is the most expensive body part?
Is it an appendage?
It is on your body.
On your body?
Yes.
Nose?
Tongue.
Your thumbs.
Oh, yeah, that makes
your
sense.
Your thumbs. If you lose your thumb, you're ruined. Like my dad had a hunting accident like probably 3 or 4 years ago, blew his thumb completely off.
Yeah, you've told me that.
And
Dick Cheney?
He has that guy just scattered birdshot over someone's face. My dad has a bone nub now.
Accident.
Oh, I didn't. I thought he was a quail. Good Lord. I ain't never seen a quail before. I don't know why I made him a Southern Deputy lawyer.
Antebellum.
This sweet mint julep. This was tasty. Excuse me while I reload.
Lincoln, Nebraska.
I have a picture of hunched over Dick Cheney with a monocle and dressed like the general from KFC.
Yeah, send me another
Is it the
bird
general?
out here.
It's not the general.
I'm thinking more Foghorn Leghorn.
What's the name of the character that's the KFC guy?
Colonel Sanders.
I say, send me another politician, bird out here.
Oh, who's the caller that sounds like Foghorn Leghorn?
Paul and Franklin.
We
miss Paul.
Football season.
Give us a call,
We
Paul.
should. Well, not unless he's got something.
I miss Paul and
I just wanna
Franklin
talk
and
to him.
Scott and Beth Page.
That's because he's the only person on this show that would tell you he loves you on a regular basis. All right, coming up next in the second hour, we've got NFL headlines and Trey Wallace of Outkick. I'm Buck Rising. It's 104.5 The Zone. Premier Generators is here to make sure that you're prepared, because you can think about all the different things that you might need after the fact, but you want to make sure that you're preemptive with it. How quickly does a generator kick in after the power goes out? About 15 seconds, just enough time for you to realize that the power is in fact out. Then it's right back on. You don't have to do a thing. That kind of reliability brings real peace of mind, whether you're just trying to keep your food safe or if you have some kind of medical condition that relies on electricity or having power in your home to make sure that you don't suffer any manner of setbacks. Premier Generators is here to help you. They'll take care of all the details, and they'll also give you a free 10-year warranty. You can call them today at 855-POWER-IS-ON. That's 855-POWER-IS-ON, or visit them online at premiergenerators.com.
11:03, good morning from the 104.5 The Zone studios. I'm Lucas Panzica. The Titans wrapped up the week of practice Wednesday, and quarterback Cam Ward met with the media afterwards, speaking on the importance of finishing the preseason strong with the offense on Friday.
In terms of
The offense and put the ball in the end zone.
I think it's real important in terms of us just playing at a high level and making drives count, whether it's with 6 or 3 points. And then just also getting guys excited to play football, having excitement on the sideline, getting the guys their touches on the field, then at the end of the day, it's playing together. I think a lot of points can come from teams playing together, not playing selfish football. And, I'm just glad that we have one of those teams to play together.
Brian Callahan said earlier this week he does expect some starters to play on Friday. Week 3 of the preseason begins tonight. The Panthers host the Steelers at 6 p.m. on NFL Network, and the Giants host the Patriots at 7. Tennessee football picked up a commitment today from 4-star offensive lineman Kamari Blair, who flipped from South Carolina. Blair, an in-state product from Kirkwood High School in Clarksville. For all your foundation repairs and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Second hour is upon us. We're going to do an abbreviated version of NFL headlines here in just a second. Trey Wallace will also get us ready for the college football season because week 0 is upon us. We're going to go college football heavy next week, right?
Week 1 next week, baby. I am so excited.
Okay, that does not indicate how we're going college football heavy, other than you just yelling about your excitement.
Should have been a yes.
Who's on the show
Context
next
clues.
week?
Josh Pate. ESPN's Josh Pate.
No. Josh Pate's Josh Pate that ESPN is now able to license.
Get up this morning. Mike Greenberg suddenly pitched to Josh Pate, a college football contributor now for ESPN, as well as the work he's doing with On3 Sports and his podcast, of course, 3 times a week. We'll have him in studio. David Ubben will stop by, see if we can't get Adam Sparks in for a Vols check-in, tie up some loose ends at the end of fall camp ahead of their season opener against Syracuse in Atlanta.
And then the two of you are going to be where on Friday? Not this Friday, but next Friday.
Next Friday, we'll be at Yazoo Brewing Company in Madison to help kick off the college football season with Cover 2 and 3HL, thanks to Porch Factory.
Who's the ugliest contributor that you guys can think of? Because all I feel like is pretty people.
Feinbaum.
Like, yeah, but he's old ugly. That doesn't count. If you're old ugly, it's like endearing.
There are plenty of attractive old people, I feel.
Jamie Lee Curtis. I don't know if you guys have seen Freakier Friday.
I haven't.
Wow. That's all I'll say.
Really?
Yes. Very impressive. She
was
is
good?
back. Oh, the movie was not that good, but Jamie Lee Curtis.
Oh, okay.
Very impressive.
Ogling a 70-year-old woman, are you?
Oh, I would be, yes. Cheyenne can get out of the way. No, it's just all these pretty people getting opportunities, and as a fellow member of the ugly delegation, it seems like there need to be more. SEC Mike. SEC Mike's in the ugly delegation with me. We need
No,
more
I
ugly
agree.
representation.
come on.
There's
What do you
nothing
mean?
wrong with that. Oh, you don't get to say that as part of the pretty club. You don't get to say that. I'm drawing a strict line. Me and the Uggos are taking you pretty boys down, and we're tired of it. We're tired of being mismanaged, not given opportunities just because we don't look as appealing as a Joy Taylor.
Put Robert on TV, damn it.
I didn't say I wanted to
He
be
won't
on
even
TV.
turn his own camera on the radio show for YouTube.
I'll turn it on right now.
You sure?
You think I'm scared?
You should.
I do think you're scared. I think you're. Not only do I think you're scared, I think you're sensitive. And how quickly he's going to reach there and turn it off.
Yes. Back to my cave. Leave me alone.
So, with the, well, I guess there's no reason to transition. Although Josh Pate is the rare good-looking bald. Like, Josh Pate is objectively, it's him and Robert Saleh. I can't name another bald that would be able to pass the pretty boy committee test.
The Rock.
I was about to say The Rock.
Stone Cold.
The Rock doesn't have peach fuzz. He just went full of.
He's so,
he's
come on,
like
the
that thing-
baldest
he-
person alive.
He could
think of
slide
the-
on that thing. What are you
I
talking
don't think
about?
I've seen a picture of The Rock in a long time. I'm not following wrestling.
I'm going to make a tier list of bald people.
All right. You do that, and we will do some headlines. You have headlines?
Yeah. How about this for a headline?
Are we just jumping right in? No pomp, no circumstance, no.
Yeah, let's just jump in.
No, I don't think that's what we should do.
Pete Nakos.
Look at him. He's pissed.
Ooh, I may use this for my bald music, too. Bald, bald. Bald, 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 bald. It's
This music
time
might be the only good thing that MSNBC has ever done.
for NFL headlines with fully haired Lucas Panzica.
This is not an NFL headline, but Pete Nakos is reporting that Dylan Raiola, maybe it is an NFL
Pete
headline.
Nakos also part of the ugly committee with me.
Oh, man. Now we're just taking swipes at
Hey, I
people.
think we're just being honest.
That's accurate.
Buck's like, no, he's disgusting.
This is
He's
my
a disgusting human.
This is my wheelhouse. I'm so down to judge people's physical appearances.
I am not along for this ride.
I can't wait for you to come to the ugly side with the rest of us.
Me?
Yes.
No, there's
No, it's coming for you. That mustache is just the beginning.
It's,
Dylan Raiola at Nebraska will make more than $3 million this season, according to Pete Nakos. That just came across my timeline. Not an NFL headline, but he's basically the young Pat Mahomes, so I guess it kind of is.
Patrick, his mom will come after you.
Bunch of trades of players that you've probably never heard of, like nose tackle Harrison Phillips. The Vikings
No, I
are
know who
sending the
Harrison
veteran
Phillips is. He's been there forever.
to the Jets. Does the average NFL fan know anything about Harrison Phillips?
Probably not.
Probably not. Sending him to the Jets for a 2026 sixth-round draft pick and a swap of picks in 2027. You've got the Denver Broncos, who are sending wide receiver Devon Vele to the New Orleans Saints. I will admit, never heard of him. Sending him to the Saints for a 2026 fourth-round pick and a 2027 seventh-round pick.
Sean Payton called him or said that he could be similar to Marcus Colston in the Broncos offense, the former Saints wide receiver. So New Orleans apparently got too excited about that and traded for him.
Okay. Sean Payton playing the long game with his former team,
I guess.
And this is a player I am familiar with. The Chiefs are sending Sky Moore to the San Francisco 49ers. The Niners are decimated with injuries at receiver. Brandon Ayuk recovering from a knee. Jawan Jennings has been dealing with a calf. Jordan Watkins has a high ankle sprain. Demarcus Robinson facing a 3-game suspension. Enter Sky Moore. So we're in that portion at the end of training camp before roster cutdown day where all these deals and teams are just picking up the extra pick here and there. Saw the Titans do it last year with Malik Willis for a 7th. And it poses the obvious question, do the Titans have that type of player that can help them scoop up an extra day 3 draft pick? We'll talk about that later in the show. But anything of significance there with any of those trades?
I just don't get what the Saints are doing. You know, I mean, so Vele, Robert, remind me, he's a 7th-round pick.
Former 7th-round pick,
So
right?
they got a 4th and a 7th.
Okay, he was a 7th-rounder last year.
Yeah.
Yes.
A 4th. So they do have team control, but a 4th and a 7th for a guy who's a former 7th. One, I don't get why the Broncos, Robert brought this up last night, so not to steal your point, but I thought it was a good one, so I'm going to borrow it. You pointed out that the Broncos have decent wide receiver depth. Why give one away? Because there will be injuries at some point to one position or another. Why not hedge your bets there a little bit for a second-year quarterback in Bo Nix? The flip side of that is, what is New Orleans doing thinking that they can give up assets?
Yeah, my only thought with this was they have a rookie quarterback in Tyler Shuck and then a room of young quarterbacks who are not yet proven. My only thought was they didn't have the capital to invest in the wide receiver room during the draft. They were able to identify a player that they were able to acquire who can play the big slot role for them. It have 3 years of cheap control, and that wide receiver room outside of Chris Olave, old-ass Brandon Cooks, and broke-ass Rashid Shaheed, who I do love, is no one. So you added another wide receiver to be able to see if you can develop this quarterback or at least give him the pieces to see if he can develop.
He's 27.
Vele, yes, he is an older, but they also just drafted the oldest quarterback prospect since Brandon Wheaton.
Oh, my God.
So I don't hate it. It's a 4th-round pick. Even if it's the first pick in the 4th round.
I don't hate it. I just like, what is New Orleans going to win? I guess that's a longer-term play than, for example, trading for a guy in a contract year. Like the Titans have a couple of guys in a contract year that if they crater ahead of the trade deadline, could you feasibly see them moving a player that is not a part of their long-term plan, a la Chig or McCreary or something like that. We'll see. But if they win, I think I saw somebody point this out on Twitter, and forgive me for not giving proper credit. I can't remember who I saw the tweet from, but like they're loading up for this Week 18 game that they're going to win to take them from the sixth pick to the second pick to the sixth pick. Like, what are they doing?
Right, they'll beat the beat the Panthers at the end of the season. It is very weird.
What's the rush? I guess is my question for New Orleans.
I assume that because of the compensation, I assume the Broncos were not going to cut Vele, and they had to put in to acquire him, would be my guess. But that would be the rush. But I wish Traylon Burks wasn't hurt while people are trading for unacquirable wide receivers. Speaking of the Sky Moore trade, so something interesting. Like, obviously, Traylon Burks has not been super available. He has more receiving yards, more catches, and the same number of touchdowns that Sky Moore has in his career.
But Sky Moore's whole thing is special teams, right? Primarily?
I mean, when they drafted him, it was that he was going to be a speedy Tyreek Hill replacement, that he would be able to take the top off the defense and be kind of a gadget guy. Like, he has 43 catches, 6 yards shy of 500, and 1 touchdown in his career. He didn't do anything last year. Traylon Burks, on the other side, has 699 yards, 53 catches, and 1 touchdown.
Yeah, most of those from his rookie year.
So, right, but, like, still, if you're looking at it flatly, like, I think we've all been conditioned to say Traylon Burks hasn't done anything. Well, Sky Moore has done less than him even.
Yeah, and Burks is a first-round pick.
Sky Moore was also, or he was a second-round pick, I believe.
Yeah.
So what, are you alleging that somebody would... I mean, if he was available, I guess somebody could.
Right, with all the injuries, it came out this morning that the 49ers have another wide receiver injury. Like, would it have been cheaper? It would have been a better pick swap for them.
God, if the Niners took on NPF, who obviously they cut, Dillard, who they put on injured reserve, and then in a different world tried to trade for Traylon Burks, I would so question everything going on in San Francisco.
It's a fair comparison. Like, Sky Moore's dealt with injury. He was placed on IR in October last year. The production just has not been there for a guy. I remember there was hype around Sky Moore being a deep threat in this Chiefs offense.
Yeah.
When they drafted him in the second round.
I think that was mostly about the Chiefs offense as opposed to Sky Moore.
Yeah, but 2022, second-round pick.
But I think we probably talked about him for a team that perpetually needs wide receivers. I'm sure we talked about Sky Moore.
For sure, out of Western Michigan. So, yeah, and Burks kind of has all of those things, lack of production, availability issues, but he has the first-round pick background. That even got Caleb Farley another job after the Titans cut him loose.
And you asked about his returning. He had not returned a kick since his rookie year in 2022. So I guess they tried him there, and it didn't really fit.
Yeah, that is interesting.
Okay.
That is interesting. Niners do have a massive need. The Bucs have some good news as they plan to activate wide receiver Chris Godwin and left tackle Tristan Wirfs off the PUP list, and they will be on the initial 53-man roster to start the season. According to ESPN, it remains unclear when either star player will be available to start the season, to actually be on the field, whether that's week 1 or later. Titans didn't see them at joint practice or in the preseason game, obviously. But the Bucs looking to win the NFC South for a 5th straight year. And they open the season with the with the Falcons on the road in a pretty big divisional matchup to kick things off.
I don't know why I'm such a Bucs stan right now. Maybe it's just because I think they're perpetually underrated and all they do is win. Now watch, the minute that I get any kind of attachment to a team like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they'll suck this year, and Baker will go from 41 touchdown passes to looking more pedestrian or God forbid, hurt. But that's such a fun roster.
Yeah, and most of it's drafted by the Bucs. So good news for them. And the preseason week 3 kicks off tonight. Steelers at Panthers. On NFL Network, I believe we'll get to see Ramon Foster on TV tonight. If you tune in.
Really?
On the sidelines for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
No, not on the sideline. In the booth, isn't he?
Hasn't Moan been on the sidelines, Robert?
Oh, is he doing sidelines?
I thought he was an analyst.
I thought he was in the booth.
Okay, my mistake. Either way.
Way to support your team.
Watch Ramon Foster on TV tonight. I'll support him. No, I've got high school football tonight. Patriots at Giants. You get to see preseason MVP leader Jackson Dart finish things out at home at MetLife Stadium.
Versus runner-up preseason MVP Josh Dobbs.
Always, perpetually.
All right. Trey Wallace is next. Welcome back to the show, fueled by Hattie B's Hot Chicken, the best hot chicken in the world. Few people cover the SEC in the world of college sports better than Trey Wallace, writer for Outkick.com. He joins us now on 104.5 The Zone. Buddy, good to see you. Happy week 0. Hope you are geared up for another exciting college football season.
I am stoked for football in Ireland. And you know what? I'll even take the darn Stanford-Hawaii game at 7 o'clock. Thank goodness it's not kicking off at 11 o'clock Eastern time where I don't have to stay up till 3 o'clock in the morning. So, man, give me the appetizer this weekend.
You're not going to Dublin, are you?
No, I'm not going to Dublin. Heck, I'd have to leave right now just to make it over there in time for kickoff.
And they got direct flights out of Nashville now.
I know. I saw that. Like it was tempting. Don't get me wrong here, but I'm kind of saving things up to go to Columbus next weekend to see if Arch Manning can live up to expectations, which everybody's throwing out in front of him right now.
So let's start there, because that's a huge game against the defending national champions. Yeah. Even if Arch Manning looks mortal, like, is the dialogue just around him all season long going to be insane? Because I wouldn't expect Texas or Arch Manning to look transcendent in that game specifically. And yet, if he doesn't pull off a huge upset in the first game of the year, I feel like people are going to start dragging him.
That's the worst part about this game being the season opener, is that you're going to play the defending national championships with a stellar defense, and everybody in the world, I mean, including me, is like, we have expectations for Arch, but he's really only played 2 football games, so it's like we can think he's going to be a Heisman Trophy winner. We can think he's going to be a top 5 NFL draft pick, even though he's not coming out after this season. I'm just going to go ahead and say that right now. But at the same time, we don't know, man. Like, we don't know. And to me, that's what throws everything for a loop, because if they go to Ohio State and they lose, okay, well, are the wheels already coming off the Longhorn ship before the season really even gets underway? I mean, we don't even get into week 3 or week 4. If they go up there and lose by 10 points or 2 touchdowns, and Arch comes out and throws for I don't know, 250 yards, 2 touchdowns, but also 2 interceptions, it's like, oh my gosh, the world is ending. Arch Manning is not what we thought he was going to be. Move him down the draft boards. He's not going to be the number 1 pick. Like, I'm ready for that to happen, but also at the same time, I could see Arch coming out and throwing for 350, 3 touchdowns, and Texas defense shuts down Ohio State. Like, that's why the expectations are so crazy surrounding this, and that's why I was kind of, I don't know, happy is not the right word, but when he talked about it at SEC Media Days, he was like, I don't really know why you guys are giving me all these preseason accolades. I've only played 2 college football games in my career, so I appreciate it. Thank you, but I haven't done anything yet. And I think, Buck, that's just why we're heading into this week 1 with so many expectations, on Labor Day weekend, and I don't really know what to expect yet. And I think that's the great part about it. But at the same time, folks down in Austin and other parts of the country are expecting this to kick off his Heisman Trophy campaign, and I'm just trying to put the brakes on it for folks.
At Trey Wallace _ is where you can follow along for reasonable and nuanced opinion, as well as excellent journalism.
Well, like it or not, Trey, Texas is considered to be a bona fide national championship contender. It is championship or bust, it feels like, for Steve Sarkisian this year. And that would be an actual national championship. And then there's Auburn, who this week officially claimed 4 more national championships, including going back to 1910 with this thing, Trey. Hugh Freeze, the same week, is saying, yep, you could see all 3 quarterbacks get snaps in that opener against Baylor next weekend. What are we to make of Auburn going into 2025 with Hugh Freeze and all the things he said and all the context around the lack of success they've had as a program recently?
Why in the world would they not release this information about claiming new national championships in the spring or after last season? They've been talking about this for 10 years now. Why all of a sudden are we doing this a week before the season starts? Like, you're making yourself the punchline of a joke. Like, it's always been about Alabama, claiming so many national championships, but really how many did they win? And now you got Auburn coming out here, and they're basing these championships. Like, you based the one with USC had to vacate it. Okay, well, wouldn't that go to Oklahoma since they were runner-up? Like, I know you won the SEC title. I get that part. I know what your season record was. But then even the same time in 93, Auburn was on probation by the NCAA and wasn't allowed to be shown on television, but somehow they're national championship. And it's also based off these weird rankings that I think one of them was like the Daniel Perry rankings. Like, what is that? Like, what? Okay, am I going to proclaim Auburn is the Outkick national championship and reward them, and they're going to put a banner up inside Jordan-Hare Stadium this season? Like, I don't get why they would do that a week before the season, besides trying to drum up some kind of, discussion around Auburn that doesn't have to do with this might be in Hugh Freeze's last year if they can't figure out the situation. And then, Hugh wants to get smart and come out, and kind of imply, we might play 3 quarterbacks. Okay, well, if you play 3 quarterbacks, it's going to be a long-ass season in Auburn. I'm sorry. Like, and especially if you go to Baylor and lose that football game. Like, they're just – it seems like folks are – I think Auburn's actually going to be good this year. But it also seems like folks at the same time – are looking at Auburn and like, oh my gosh, you're about to run into the iceberg and everything is going to flood inside the ship, and you've got to figure out a way to pay the buyout, go find a new coach, and reorganize the whole entire football building for 2026. Like, there's only 2 ways this thing goes this year. Because if you win 7 games, Auburn fans are going to freak out. If you win 8 games, but you drop a couple of those games by a large margin, then you're still in the same situation. Like, the only way Hugh Freeze can make folks happy down at Auburn and get this narrative off his back is to be in playoff contention. I'm not talking about top 4, just be in the playoff talk by the first weekend of November. And then maybe you can start switching things around at Auburn, and maybe the narrative changes a little bit about Hugh Freeze. Then you can go into 2026 with Deuce Knight and run with it. But this is not the same situation as Florida had last year, where they had DJ Lagway on the bench, and Billy Napier knew, if I can just get DJ Lagway out there to show that he could be a star quarterback, that's going to buy me another year. Well, it worked out for Billy because they go on a winning streak to end the season, and now you look at where they are in the preseason rankings and how I feel about Florida. Auburn's not in the same boat, man. Like, it just feels like the walls are coming in on Hugh Freeze, and if 9 wins, if he doesn't get there this season, I think they're going to run him off and bring somebody else in.
One of our YouTube commenters, Trey, is alleging that Auburn should have a ring and banner ceremony for their recently claimed championships during the Bama game at halftime.
Mm-hmm. And that it's a ploy by Hugh Freeze to get off the hot seat and bring more championships to Auburn.
I mean, that's a great way to put it. I would love how to see they're going to recognize. I mean, I don't know how many people are going to show up from the 1913 squad to be honored at halftime of whatever game they decide to put that on. Like, congratulations to them. Whatever. Tommy Tuberville is a national championship winning coach. Okay, that's great. You succeeded. You're going to run for governor. Now you're going to be a national title winning coach. You can stump for that in Opelika if you want to, or Montgomery, or wherever else you're going to go. Whatever. I just found it stupid. I'm sorry. They could have done that, in the springtime and not done this where they look like a joke right now. And I hate to say that because I'm not trying to be mean, but this is their own PR doing. It's on them.
Well, Tommy Tuberville has already lied about recruiting and coaching Pat Mahomes. Now he can lie about being a national champion. So win-win for him.
I mean, he can lie about not leaving a steakhouse in the middle of a recruiting dinner to go take another job. He can just continue doing this. Hey, man, he's in the politics game for a reason, right? If you ain't lying, you ain't winning.
Turns out successful formula.
Well, it is the thing that Auburn fans used to throw at Alabama fans the most. The amount of claimed national championships that are they real or are they not real feels like that weapon in their arsenal is now gone. So sorry to Don Davenport, our Auburn alum friend here at The Zone.
Eat it, Babs.
Trey Wallace hanging out with us. The College Football Playoff Selection Committee is announcing the first of its 6 rankings on November 4th, and we will see them using, Trey, reportedly, an enhanced metric system to help evaluate schedule strength and how teams perform against their slate. Obviously, it was a huge discussion last year with the amount of SEC teams that had 9 wins with an SEC scheduled and were clamoring to get in. Do you see any tangible change in the way the playoff is going to gauge or judge these teams? If you were to apply this metric to last year, would we have any different outcome? What did you make of this from the CFP?
I think folks are forgetting that this is still a committee that's going to be voting on these teams. Like it's still the human factor. You can throw in strength of schedule. You can say, okay, Alabama played this top 25 team and won this week, while Indiana, no offense, Buck, played some FCS school and they won by 14 points. So we're not going to take that into consideration compared to what Alabama did. Like, we can go all day on this thing. Like, to me, you still have the human factor in this. So really, are these people going to recuse themselves when they're talking about certain teams that maybe they're not allowed to have a vote on? But at the same time, what does the metric look like when it comes to this strength of schedule model that they're now going to put out? Like, you're going to have to prove it to me, because when you have these men in a room and women in a room that are voting for the rankings and what they're going to look like first weekend in November, I'm sorry, there's still going to be some kind of bias towards some team, and there's going to be arguments. We can sit here all day long like we did after the final rankings were released before the playoffs started last season and talk about South Carolina and Ole Miss and Alabama and maybe how they should have been in over somebody else. But at the end of the day, if we're going to sit here and we're going to look at strength of schedule, we're going to look at teams and who they're playing. Like, if Alabama goes to Florida State and wins by 3 points, but then Florida State ends up being a 6-6 team this year. Okay, well, what kind of consideration are we going to have towards the end of the season when we're trying to rank, I don't know, Illinois against somebody based on their 10-point win against the 23rd ranked team? Like, this is just causing more confusion for folks. And I think at the same time, like, the SEC knew what they were doing down in spring meetings when they started passing out strength of schedule pamphlets to everybody that was in attendance. Like, they knew this was coming. So now they were trying to just lay the foundation for when this was going to be announced by the CFP. I still think that there's going to be problems. I think in November, we're still going to be having the same arguments about, okay, well, this team went to this team, you know, and won this top 25 matchup compared to the fourth week of the season, and Illinois is playing a bad Northwestern team, and how we can't take that into consideration. Like, now all we're doing is just breaking it down week by week and trying to find argument for each squad. So again, you can't take the human factor out of it. You can't, you know, we're not programming these folks' mind. This is not a Men in Black situation where I can just flash you right in the face and tell you, don't remember that one. Let's just look at it as an overall season. I think there's going to be flaws, and I think we're going to have the same conversations again once the final rankings come out this season.
No confusion about where you can find Trey Wallace's work. Outkick.com, of course, is where he is writing and doing great journalism. Trey Wallace _ at Trey Wallace _ is where you can follow him on social media. Something that you put up on Outkick.com recently, among other things, Trey, was the Pavia Mafia music video. Where are you? I mean, listen, he's got a flair for the dramatic. God love him, and I love that he carries himself the way that he does, Trey. But I am curious to see, can they, as a unit, as a football team, back it up when their schedule is, I don't know, it's as difficult as any, specifically on the road, as any schedule in the SEC this year. And they do expect to be better, but I'm just, what is the most interesting thing about Vanderbilt football in 2025 to you?
If they beat Auburn again in Nashville, oh my goodness. I mean, Diego Pavia could run for governor in the state of Alabama if he wanted to. I mean, the guy would be 4-0. It was crazy. First off, how I found that video. I was just scrolling one night, and the girl looked over next to me and said, "Is that Diego Pavia?" And I was like, "What the hell? What is that? What is that? A music video? Like, what? I don't understand what this is." I had to look up corrido, what that meant, and I get that it meant a Spanish ballad. And he's dancing in the parking lot in front of a bunch of horses, flashing a bunch of $100 bills.
Hell yeah!
God bless this guy. I love him, dude. He's so good for college football. We're talking about Vanderbilt football before the 2025 season starts. Like, I think this is great. I think that the ticket prices, like, I was looking at ticket prices for like that Auburn game, you know, and they're over $150 a piece right now. And I get, because there's a lot of Auburn alumni in Nashville, I understand that. But at the same time, Like, this is fascinating to me. I think Vanderbilt is going to be a problem for a number of teams in the SEC this year. And folks, we can't look at Vanderbilt right now. I'm not talking about next season or the year after that or whatnot, but this squad has some darn talent. And I think that they will, there's going to be an upset or two this year. And you know, I at the same time with Diego Pavia, he's perfect for college football, man. Like, what do fans clamor for? They want to know personal stories. They want to get to know these players. They either want to love them or they want to hate them. Well, Diego Pavia is a mixture of both. If he's not playing for your team, you hate him. If he's playing for Vanderbilt, you absolutely love him. And as somebody that covers this sport, I dig it all. I'll take everything. I'll take him posing outside of a bar with Kid Rock and putting up a middle finger, and then at the same time putting out a Spanish ballad music video on TikTok and social media, while at the same time he is going to give everything he has, that is his entire body, to that field. And also, like, he's proclaiming, you know what? We're going to go fight for a national championship. I'm going to be in the Heisman contention, and then I'm going to get drafted in the NFL. I want that kind of enthusiasm and confidence from my quarterback. And if not, that's fine. If it's not your cup of tea, cool. But at the same time, a team like Vanderbilt and a school that is trying to continue to rise under Clark Lee in the football program, this is exactly who you want as your spokesperson. I'm sorry. And if the folks don't like it, get over it. It probably means he's either beaten one of your teams or he's come close to beating them. And at the same time, you look at what he does on the field, man, he's just electric. So I think this could be a 7-win season for Vanderbilt. I do. I think they can continue to progress. They're finding more NIL funds as well, by the way, on West End. So they're going to be paying some athletes to come there in the future. And now I look at it and, man, if the starting quarterback of Vanderbilt can go out and make $2 million a year, okay, cool. Like, go find some other studs that can come in either from the transfer portal or high school recruiting and build off this. I think Diego Pavia is the best thing to happen to Vanderbilt football probably since that crazy year with James Franklin where College game day was on campus. So I'm all for it, guys.
He's Trey Wallace. We're all for him being on the show because it means college football is upon us. But it's good to see you. Keep up the great work and enjoy the start of the season.
Hey, real quick, because we're up against it. Iowa State or K-State?
Oh, Iowa State. Iowa State wins this weekend, and then Hawaii upset Stanford. I don't even know if I can call it an upset. Upset Stanford that night. Oh, and the sleeper game, by the way, don't overlook Fresno State going to Kansas. That could be a fun one on Saturday night. I'm not calling it upset. I'm just saying, pay attention.
Oh,
we'll see.
It's so great to be able to give out college football picks because there's games. Right? Thank you, Trey.
See you, boys.
That's Trey Wallace of Outkick, outkick.com for more information. So, lot to chew on there. We will pivot back to some college football discussion a little later on. But as we were talking about trades around the NFL yesterday, there were a few transactions. Do the Titans have any legitimately tradable assets ahead of roster cutdowns? We'll talk about it next. All right, the obvious question is why? Why is it hard to say goodbye? Why boys to men?
Well, I could come up with a fake reason, but the real reason was I was running out of time and most of the songs in the system suck. So
I would have rather you come up with a fake reason. I'd
Okay,
rather
my
you
fake
lie to
reason
me
is
than
it's
upset me with something that you know is going to bother me.
okay, it's
Or
hard.
don't slander boys to men. How about that?
It's hard to say goodbye to Titans players because not a lot of them have a value to say goodbye to.
Or on the opposite, it's very easy.
Yesterday.
Yeah, it's been a bad week on this show for lack of musical knowledge and just general slander.
I came to the realization last night that I just don't know anything about pop culture. Like, I have no interest, so I've never efforted there's not a reason for me to seek out that knowledge. It doesn't affect me one way or the other.
Well, I could have saved you a little bit of word economy right there. Right after you said, or when you started to say about, you could have cut anything after about out.
Yeah, you don't know ball, and ball means generally anything about anything.
Freddie Mercury, not knowing anything about Freddie Mercury.
We need to, you're going to be like Buck Pluto or something. We need to give you a name, give you a planet, and then you'll associate with it, and then you'll be like, oh, I looked up this Freddie Mercury guy, and he's actually pretty cool.
Yeah, not knowing who Freddie Mercury is like...
Again, I knew...
If you don't know that he's the singer of Queen, then you don't really know who he is.
Yeah, come on. Everyone knows his dad invented the thermometer.
Right.
And that's why they used mercury inside of them.
Famously.
Like, that's worse than anything you could do in that regard.
Really?
Yeah. Like, that's
worse than anything I could do. Oh, now that's a challenge. Now I'm just going to find different moments of ignorance that I know will actually bother Lucas.
I mean, in terms of, like, ball knowledge, just generally, and by ball, again, all-encompassing.
It's an all-encompassing term, yeah.
It's tough to think of something worse than not knowing who Freddie Mercury is.
I don't care. Like, the rest of Queen is still not touring, right? Or is not touring. Are they?
I think Queen is touring.
Yeah,
it's with that dude that was on American Idol.
Adam Lambert.
There you go.
For a long time, toured with, I don't know if he still is.
I went to go see them with Adam Lambert, and it was okay. It's like watching someone else masquerade. Like, you see someone else dating your old girlfriend, and he's like, that's my house, and that's my car.
Journey does that with a new singer.
Oh, I didn't know that. Mm-hmm. I will avoid that.
And the Eagles do it with Glenn Fry's son.
See, that's cool. That's like Ice Cube's son being in the new Friday movies. I would be cool with that.
Or playing Ice Cube.
Yeah. Yeah, you look just like your father.
So, all that to say, do the Titans have any legitimate tradable assets on the roster that they can move before roster cutdown day? So,
no. Is it that simple?
Well, I mean, so the name that comes up the most frequently is who? Jeffrey Simmons. Jeffrey Simmons is not worth trading. Well, I mean, he could be worth trading, but not before the season starts. Jeffrey Simmons is at least a part of this team's immediate future.
Yeah.
Immediate future.
Yeah.
And Jeff's got, 2 years, including this season, left on his deal? If I'm not mistaken, he's hired new representation, which means at some point he's going to be seeking a new contract, or he's going to have his people seeking a new contract, whether it's here or elsewhere. But if there is a conversation to be had around trading Jeffrey Simmons, it should not happen until such time as if they are dead in the water before the trade deadline in 2025, then okay. Like, I'm good with that conversation. Whether or not they end up doing it, I don't know. But I'm completely comfortable having that conversation. If they crater in 2025 ahead of the deadline, then let's have a conversation about giving up premium players or the best players on the roster for trade assets, because you just have to get better at some point.
Yeah, like, my question was, do they have a Sky Moore type of, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
do they have
reserve?
Yeah, exactly. Like, Traylon Burks would be the closest thing to it. Do they have a Devon Vele?
Well, Vele's like an actually solid player.
He was, for a 7th-round pick in his rookie year, he was productive.
Yeah,
for
like
the Broncos.
400 yards, 4 touchdowns.
Yep.
For a
Big slot
7th-round pick,
receiver.
yeah, with the qualifier for a 7th-round pick, solid player.
Broncos got a lot out of their rookie draft class last year.
So let's move away from the obvious. The next name that comes to my mind or the next names, plural, that come to my mind are players in a contract year, and specifically players who have not yet made big money, who are still working off their rookie contract, of which there are 2. There is Chig Okonkwo, and there is Roger McCreary. The Titans cornerback room needs Roger McCreary. Like, you have to be able to field a secondary this year. Roger, for what nickels are getting paid in 2025 and beyond that, he's gonna get a pay raise, whether it's here or elsewhere. I don't know what their plan is. They probably haven't. I'm sure they haven't made any definitive statements one way or the other about Roger McCreary's future on the Titans. Chig Okonkwo, I think if Gunnar Helm makes enough progress, I think they'd be more than comfortable moving on. But the other part of that is who's the other tight end beyond Chig? Because I think Josh Wiley is not long for this roster world.
Yeah. He was getting some reps with the ones in practice this past when the one day we were there on Monday.
I think every tight end got a rep with the ones in that. Though.
No, I agree.
Is Drake Dabney getting reps with the ones? Because if that's, I'm sure people don't even know that that's a name on your roster right now.
But no, I agree. Wiley is not long for this roster.
I don't even know what he does well. Like, I know what he
Wiley?
he was supposed to do well. Right. He was supposed to be like a red zone target.
But you can't be 6'7" and get mossed by Darryl Baker Jr.
That's what he was in college. He was a red zone target for Cincinnati, and it just never really translated to the NFL.
He also, it looked like they might have something, and then he got a concussion.
Chig is just sort of an intriguing weapon, potentially, for a team. But it's hard to imagine, apart from him.
Chig is poor man Jonnu. And like Jonnu was poor man Delaney. Like, we're just getting less by degrees here. You know?
How would you guys feel about potentially trading some of this offensive line depth? And I think there's only one player that would. It's not great depth, right? I think we can all agree that.
I'm not even sighing or moaning because of that. I'm like, if one of them goes down, I want as many good bodies in front of Cam Ward as humanly possible.
Right, and that's kind of why I'm asking this. Jalen Duncan. Jalen Duncan has the body type. There's always an attrition level at tackle.
Can you fool a team into thinking that he cares?
People fool the Titans at two other tackles. Like, I think that they're and
NPF got another job.
Desperation will make you do a bunch of crazy stuff, right? So if another team is desperate, if there are a bunch of tackle injuries over this preseason game, and they're like, we just need a bottom of the roster tackle. We just need a third team tackle, someone to be our backup swing. Like, if someone was interested in trading for Duncan, would you? And I guess the first part of that is, do you think anyone would be interested in Duncan? Because if he was cut, I do think someone would claim him off waivers.
Yeah, that's more a statement about, like, league-wide tackle depth. Nobody has good reserve offensive linemen, right? Like, truly good reserve offensive linemen. Who's the last good bench lineman that you can name?
Dennis Kelly.
Dennis Kelly.
Give me a kiss.
Love you, buddy.
Love you.
I feel like I'm interrupting something. So the answer really is not unless we get to the trade deadline and they suck. Like, at that point, I don't care who you trade, other than guys who just got drafted or year two players that you're going to build around. I don't care who you move forward into the back half of 2025 with, if this team is, when's the trade deadline? Week 9?
Yeah, somewhere. I think it got moved back a week. The Steelers proposed that as a new rule change because the season was extended a week, so it's either week 9 or week 10.
If they're 2-6, 8 weeks into the season, I don't care who you trade.
Yeah.
Dan Skipper also, the Detroit lineman who was catching touchdowns.
Who's 61 for the Patriots? Because he, ended up getting a decent tackle contract. This was a couple of years ago.
That's like asking me, who drives the sedan with the license plate? I don't know.
You would probably know something like that. You play enough video game football that you should know something like that. Anyway. Cam Ward's incompletions. How concerned should you be? Are they on him? Are they on the quarterback? You'll hear from Greg Cosell. Are they on him or are they on the receivers is how I should have teased that. You'll hear from Greg Cosell coming up next.
12:02, good afternoon from the 104.5 The Zone studios. I'm Lucas Panzica. The Titans wrapped up the week of practice on Wednesday, and quarterback Cam Ward met with the media afterwards, speaking on the importance of finishing the preseason strong with the offense on Friday.
I think it's real important in terms of us just playing at a high level and making drives count, whether it's with 6 or 3 points, and then just also getting guys excited to play football, having excitement on the sideline, getting guys their touches on the field, then at the end of the day, it's playing together. I think a lot of points can come from teams playing together, not playing selfish football. And, I'm just glad that we have one of those teams who play together.
Brian Callahan said earlier this week that he does expect some starters to play Friday as the Titans wrap up the preseason at home against the Vikings. Week 3 of the preseason begins tonight. Panthers hosting the Steelers at 6 p.m. on NFL Network, and the Giants host the New England Patriots at 7. Tennessee football picked up a commitment today from 4-star offensive lineman Kamari Blair, who flipped from South Carolina. Blair, an in-state product from Kirkwood High School in Clarksville. For all your foundation repairs and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Nate Washington will be here in about 30 minutes. Ben Jones, by the way, texted me, Robert, Michael Wenu, eat it. His ball knowledge greater than yours. That's number 61 for the Patriots, that tackle that they stashed and paid.
I love how you're trying to flex the long-time NFL center having more ball knowledge than Robert.
That's right.
Yep, I would expect that to be the case.
Eat it.
I'd be surprised if it wasn't.
Yeah. I will.
I don't know.
Ben Jones knows more about football than in the three of us combined.
I didn't give any. It's not football knowledge. It's just general knowledge. I gave the context of number 61 for the Patriots that was a sub or a slightly above standard tackle for them.
Did Ben know the thing in the back of your throat was a uvula?
I don't know. I didn't ask.
He didn't text you that, though.
Ben Jones back on the show on Monday. Nate Washington in 25 minutes from now. We'll talk to him about what he needs to see from the young quarterback Cameron Ward, and what he saw from the young quarterback and the young wide receivers that played in preseason game number 1 and expect to be heavily featured in preseason game number 2 to preseason game number 3, which will take place on Friday. Speaking of Cameron Ward and incompletions to young players, or incompletions generally, had the drop pass by Van Jefferson. Did you listen to any of that audio? Either of you? Thought he acquitted himself quite well, Van Jefferson.
Oh, listen to I thought you were talking about the install. No, I don't listen to that. But Van Jefferson, speaking this week, yes. I did hear Van Jefferson.
Walk that back really quick.
The install, it's a lot of great knowledge. I'm glad Greg Cosell is there to provide that. Yes, Greg, who is 61 on the Patriots? Are you aware?
I bet Greg could.
I don't know. Could. I bet I don't. You know what? He's
you mean Sebastian Vollmer, or do you mean he would list all of the 61s?
He'll list every Patriots tackle ever. But either way, we did the new episode of The Install today. It's good context. If Lucas wants to live in ignorance, that's fine. On Cam Ward's incompletions and what Greg is seeing from them.
Yeah, that was actually an interesting play. That was a very similar concept to the Ridley 27-yard play in the first game. It was double post to the field, and this time Jefferson was the boundary X, and he ran the backside deep crosser. To me, what was more important about that throw, and one can debate whether it should have been caught or should not have been caught. That's kind of irrelevant, really. But I just thought that the timing and anticipation was really good by Ward, because, one thing when I watch the tape and I have my clicker, I can freeze it as he's, literally as he separates his hands to throw the ball. And that was an NFL throw, a big-time NFL throw, because when he started his delivery, he had to throw it essentially to air. He had to take Jefferson across the field. And there are a lot of quarterbacks, particularly college quarterbacks, young quarterbacks, who don't see those kinds of throws, Buck, as viable throws, because the receiver's not open. He's probably 15, 18 yards from where he's going to be when the ball would get to that spot. So, those are the kinds of things I look at. I thought that was impressive. Like I said, we can debate, should he caught it, should he not caught it? And I bet that's not even relevant to the coaching staff, as far as Cam, because, that's the play. It's double post with a deep crosser or deep over, whatever they want to call it. And, he threw it without any hesitation. And I think the other thing that was good about that play is the pass protection was really good. So we've gotten used to seeing in the preseason, at least with the first unit, that there have been a number of plays where the pass protection's been good.
So you hear Cosell there describing the kind of throw or how rare of a throw that actually is, and that Van Jefferson didn't come up with it. I mean, you can dwell on that if you want to. I don't think Van Jefferson makes many other rosters in the NFL, but this is one that needs some level of experience at the wide receiver position, and so Van Jefferson more likely than not, but we'll see on Tuesday what they end up deciding. Is Van Jefferson tradable? It's a 1 year, $1.6 million deal.
Yeah, he's definitely cheap.
Like if the Niners wanted Van Jefferson for all the wide receiver injuries that they've got.
Yeah. Like there's a sample size of Van Jefferson helping a team win,
But it's been several years ago.
It's been a while.
It wasn't last year in Pittsburgh, certainly.
No, it was 2021, where his numbers were fantastic in a Super Bowl winning season.
Yeah, for sure. So the degree of difficulty of Cameron Ward on those throws and the fact that he's able to do it with less than perfect footwork is also something that we get into with Cosell. Now, ideally, would you like him to have more technically sound or better technique as far as his footwork goes? Of course, because it's only going to help him rather than hurt him. But you also don't want to tweak things that the player does well unnecessarily. You know what I'm saying? Like, what is an unnecessary thing? And this may be too niche of a question, but what's an unnecessary thing that Patrick Mahomes does in the process of playing quarterback? He tends to drift. Like, you'll notice him moving without the need to move, right? He'll drift one way or the other in the pocket. This is also something that Cameron Ward does, where he'll move unnecessarily. And you may say that he's taking off out of the pocket too quickly, but sometimes it's just frenetic motion and he's comfortable while he's moving. Now, can that generate pressure unnecessarily? For sure. And it's not something that he needs to do. But if it's something that he can do without it being a detriment to him, how much are you really going to hammer him on, no, you got to stay in the pocket for X amount of time?
So Cam Ward is Patrick Mahomes. Let the record show. This is what Buck has said today on August the 21st, 2025. So that's the job for Brian Callahan, right? To figure out that dividing line of not letting coaching interfere with what makes a player potentially a great player. Like, okay, Cam Ward has dealt with, whether it's in training camp against his own defense or in joint practice against the Bucs or Falcons, batted balls at the line of scrimmage. I don't know if that's a launch point thing, if some of those have come from sidearms. I wasn't there watching joint practice. If that's a stature thing, I'm not sure.
He's not overwhelmingly tall, but you can be tall and not be good at quarterback, a la Brock Osweiler.
Or if it's just a rookie thing for the first time, playing against NFL defensive linemen after playing against some not so impressive defenses, including his own in practice when he was at Miami last year. I'm not sure, but how much do you work with Cam on trying to tweak some of these things without removing what kind of gives him that X factor? Because I have noticed it feels like he is so comfortable throwing on the run.
That's what I'm saying.
Well, when he gets flushed out,
he moves unnecessarily, though.
Sure, yeah, he's kind of, I don't want to say jittery in that way, but when he's flushed out of the pocket, instead of it being, because one of two things can happen, right? It can turn into panic and tuck and run or throw away or throwing it into coverage, or it can play into your strengths. I feel like it plays into Cam's strengths. Suddenly when the field is cut in half, you can see his eyes down the field. It's almost like he relishes those plays. And, I mean, he made a living off of those plays last year, the off-schedule stuff against Miami. And some of that stuff is going to come back to bite him this year. It just is.
For sure.
Like, he's going to get chased down, or like in Atlanta, a throwaway that gets picked off because an NFL defensive back is a lot more athletic than what he's used to seeing. So that'll be an adjustment that we're going to see come around to bite him a few times his rookie year.
The other part of this is because somebody on YouTube alleges they're giving the wide receivers more time when they start to extend the play. Sometimes that's true, but also it can work to the wide receiver's detriment. This is something that I brought up when I was rewatching the Louisville-Miami game while I was in Atlanta, and I heard the color commentator on the broadcast with Joe Tessitore, and forgive me, I don't remember off the top of my head who that was, but he was talking about specifically to Cameron Ward when he starts to try and extend the play. Yes, theoretically, the wide receivers can break open, find holes in the zone outside of the route concepts that they were supposed to be running, but they also don't know where the quarterback is going. So it increases the degree of difficulty on them because now you're just moving for the sake of moving. You don't know where he's going to be. Yeah, you're trying to get away from the defensive back that's trying to blanket you in coverage, but it's also not a clean thing. It's like when you move outside of the pocket unnecessarily and the offense, and you get sacked, but the offensive line has a set amount of time that they're supposed to be pass protecting for. And if you extend the play that way, then is it on the offensive line or is it on you who started to move sometimes out of necessity, sometimes not? Like it's not a general thing, right? It can be on a specific play-by-play instance where you're looking at him and saying, was he trying to extend the play here, or is he just drifting? Nate Washington is going to join us at 12:30. We can continue this conversation as well. We can take your phone call. 615-737-1045 is the number. I'm Buck Rising. It's 1045 The Zone. There's not a lot of things worse than being insecure about your finances, whether you are currently dealing with some financial insecurity right now or you have experienced that in the past and you know what kind of detriment it can have on you personally, your relationships, all these different things that can bring additional stress. Trajan Wealth is here to help you work through that process because the simple truth is there's more to things like retirement planning than simply calculating your expenses to maintain your lifestyle through this next stage of life. Trajan Wealth can build a strategy based on realistic options that align with your goals and your circumstances. If you're interested in wealth management that's designed to protect, maintain, and expand your financial portfolio, Trajan Wealth understands the importance of tactical investments and tailored insights for growth in line with your level of risk tolerance. So call Trajan Wealth today, and they'll help you through that process. 2 locations in Brentwood and Franklin. The number is 615-270-5000. That's 615-270-5000. Or visit them online at TrajanWealth.com. Advisory services offered through Trajan Wealth, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor. This is a paid advertisement. Welcome back to the show, fueled by Hattie B's Hot Chicken. I've said that many, many times today, and I am very hungry. I think Hattie B's may see me after the show, any one of their Middle Tennessee locations.
Maybe one of those salads, cornbread croutons, grilled chicken.
Are we aligned on this? Are we going to lunch? Are we going to Hattie B's?
I have a meeting with our big boss after work. I cannot.
Oh, are you getting fired?
Hopefully.
It's exciting.
Yeah, I'll be out of here. Won't have to deal with
Who
you
would
anymore.
be more relieved, you or me?
Definitely you. I wouldn't have a job anymore. I wouldn't be gainfully employed. So probably you, but no, everything's okay. Definitely not getting fired. Probably getting a raise. Probably getting a private jet. Maybe my own car.
Probably.
Maybe an office. I don't even know. She was
let's start with the office then before we work our way up to private jet.
Yeah,
you do need an office.
Everything seemed fine. Her email said, meet me tomorrow at 1:30. I said, okay, great.
In the parking lot?
Anything I should worry about? She was like, yes, bring everything that is yours in a box.
Nothing to worry about.
So I assume she's going to let me move into my new office.
What belongings could you possibly have here other than a broken set of headsets and a half-smoked pack of cigarettes?
I have some lighters around here. A yo-yo.
A yo-yo?
Yes.
When's the last time you've seen a yo-yo?
In the break room.
I mean, Rob, you're not going to be here forever. Nobody is. But
we're waiting for the day that they finally take us out back and Old Yeller us.
Well, whenever that time comes that Robert Walsh is no longer an employee of Cumulus Nashville, many, many, many years from now, Burt's Bix
or today
will still be in every corner of this building.
I was stopped this morning. Is that what you were going to bring up?
In the year 2061, somebody's going to discover a Burt's Bix lighter just in the corner of a studio.
Who the hell is this guy? And Lucas is going to be like, he was one of the best producers I've ever known.
Smoking a pipe in the corner of the room.
Yeah, we came in and...
that'll be the thing. You and me will be long gone. Lucas will still be here as a fixture.
It'll be like the end of the Sandlot. Be like, Benny the Jet Rodriguez went on to...
What's the longest run of a Cumulus employee? Or I guess it's got to be Brent, right? Like
he's been at it a while.
Brent's been here since the dawn of time.
An institution.
Not to age him, just, yeah.
It's either him or Kirby.
Oh, yeah, Kirby.
Kirby is an institution and belongs in one.
Kirby should be in an institution. He would qualify for several.
He should be institutionalized.
He had a story to tell us, and he never called in to tell us that. I might text him to see if he wants to tell us
the
a
Titans
story.
yanked the rug out from under us and said, yeah, just kidding. No more training camp practices after Monday.
I forgot. Because Kirby always has a story. So when he texts us Monday afternoon, wait till you guys hear what happened today. Then he's excited.
I mean, you can call him. We've got 8 minutes until Nate Washington.
Can we call Kirby?
Yeah, I'm going to give him a call.
Okay. Because I do want to. I can't believe I forgot about that.
What do you think it's about? If you had to guess.
I know his significant other.
Read his teaser, because his teaser was like, it has violence, intrigue, and the like, or something like that. He gave like a big voice movie guy preview.
Oh, he said, it has everything. Violence, intrigue, high drama, medical professionals, the whole ball of wax. That's what Kirby said.
It's ringing.
Odds he picks up.
Not very good. I'm on my sixth ring.
Oh, okay. Well, we
want to leave him a voicemail?
Yeah, actually, we can collectively leave it. Well, actually, leave him a voicemail like you leave me.
I hung up. I'm sorry.
Okay, call him back. You don't have to do it on the air, but call him back. Do
you want me to do a screaming one? Do you want me to be asking for help? Do you want me to act like I'm someone else? What? Give me the flavor.
Yeah, like somebody is broken into your studio and is physically you're being abducted.
No, I can't say that. Kirby would come down here with
don't be messing with that.
Arm to the teeth. He'd look like a pirate with a knife in his mouth.
What do you mean don't be messing with that? He does that to me at least twice a week because I don't pick up his phone calls.
Yeah, but you would never come help.
Yeah, I'm just glad that you're
a coward. You would never do anything about it. Kirby would come in here ready to do something.
For the audience, hold on, I have to leave it in a second.
Sorry I missed your call. If you'll leave a message at the tone, I'll get back to you just as soon as I can.
Very professional.
Kirby, you've got to help me. Somebody's in here and they took Buck hostage. They tied him up in the side of the room. You got to call me back quick. Okay, we'll see if that works.
Oh, if he walked in right now.
He would bust through a window or something like that. That's Kirby is the only person that I will go anywhere with on work things. And he gets on me about taking vacation days when they try to put us on remote. But I wouldn't do the combine without Kirby because I know that I can trust Allen Kirby literally with my life. Anyway, so when Nate Washington joins us here in just a second, We are going to talk to him about these young wide receivers specifically because we got as good a look at them as we have seen in live game action, obviously, at any point this camp. Now, the player that has helped themselves the most, let's just take this across the board, skill position players on the Titans roster. Which player individually has helped themselves the most now that training camp is officially concluded and we are getting ready for the final preseason game, which may have some level of importance for fringe roster guys, but for the most part, the 53 is set.
Help themselves the most. I feel like there's only a few players on this list.
Well, good, because we only have 5 minutes till Nate gets.
Yeah, because a lot of, like, the wide receiver room going in, it's chalk, so to speak, right? Like, the names going in at the top, Ridley, Lockett, Jefferson.
I may have given more credence to the idea of Restrepo before we saw Restrepo play in practice.
Yeah, and it was fair to give credence to that. He was crazy productive at Miami.
For sure.
And that gets you an opportunity, and it should.
And it got him an opportunity. What beyond that, I think is
I think
very much in
Gunnar
question.
Helm has really helped himself throughout camp.
I would agree. We've seen him steadily rise up from third team to second team to first team.
Yeah, made plays in the preseason game.
I don't think Chickaconquo has overwhelming. Like, we're not banking on a Chig breakout year, other than he's in a contract year, and any time a player's in a contract year, you can bank on them going out of their way above and beyond what might be the normal expectation to try and get that money on the other side.
Yeah. Cedric Gray is another one.
Even on defense.
Well, I'm talking skill players, but we can do defense too. I'm fine with that.
Well, just on defense, as far as draft capital invested into the player, I think Marcus Harris has had about as good of a rise from a sixth-round corner that you could ever ask for.
I think he's also benefited from Kevin Winston not being out there because they tried him a little bit at safety too. Like, he hasn't played an overwhelming amount of safety. He's going to be a corner primarily and a special teams player if he makes the roster. But I'm on board with that. So Cedric Gray, Marcus Harris, Gunnar Helm. Has Alec Iamaner helped himself, or is Alec Iamaner a player that has potential in a bad wide receiver room? Because I'm more inclined to lean on the latter there.
I would go more towards the latter than I would say, man, he's really popped.
I agree. I'm not down on Alec Iamaner.
No, not at all. Like, they're going to need him to do something this year. And you can see the talent. Like, you can see the skill set.
Sure. But I'm more looking at Alec Iamaner because I'm looking at what's around him and being like, oh, yeah, there's not really a player that's obviously better than that player.
Well, just to push back on that thought, I think that describes DK. And I think Alec has done more to show for himself because at least Alec has had a big catch in a big game. We've seen him make big catches. He's at least improved his chemistry with Cam Ward. I can't say that with DK only because we haven't seen it.
He's done more than DK.
So if I was going to describe Alec, I would say he is both of those cases, and DK is more of a good opportunity in a bad wide receiver, at least for my perspective.
I'm with that.
Because, like, who else on the team outside of Bryce Oliver and Van Jefferson does what Alec does? Like, gives you a nice size, dude that can play X, big go up and get the ball guy, 50-50 ball guy.
Got him in the run game last week.
Yeah, I mean, and if was listening to 3HL and Ron Slay was like, don't be calling them screens if Alec Iamaner ain't blocking. Don't be. We don't need anybody. Like, DK was out there blocking, but he wasn't Alec blocking.
He doesn't relish the opportunity to punch somebody, or not punch somebody, but
he doesn't relic the opportunity. I guess you could just say Alec the opportunity.
We asked him his favorite play. What was his favorite play of his college career? Because he played on a bad Stanford team, but he had some highlight reel catches in his career, and he gave us a block where he wiped out 2 defenders.
No, a block on a 2-point conversion, no less.
Who was it against? Oh, I can't remember. Maybe we tracked down the audio at some point. But James Prochet has also helped himself in training camp.
I think he is the reason that, not to cut you off, sorry, it's your show.
No, it's fine.
I think he's the reason. I'll cut that. The reason Xavier Restrepo has been expendable. Like, the whole thought coming in before we got to see Prochet return anything was, Xavier Restrepo could definitely win this job. But then Prochet ends up showing that, like, I'm the veteran, I'm the one who has experience, and he's the only one that can do anything consistently in that room. So, like, Prochet made Restrepo expendable.
Yeah. I think Restrepo also makes Restrepo expendable. But to your credit, or to your point, to his credit, he's been a better wide receiver than I think anybody expected him to be.
He's shown up in team drills,
even though
not dropping the ball and punt
Robert
returns.
insists on treating him like a war criminal.
I will give him credit. He has been, as far as, I think that is also more of a situation of there are not many people in this room that can do this that don't already have priority positions elsewhere on the roster. Like, you don't want Tajay Spears returning. You don't want Amani Hooker returning. Outside of it being a fair catch situation, I don't want either one of those to be in the position to get hurt because they serve a larger role to the team.
Ooh, a little bit of breaking injury news.
Oh, I don't like your tone.
Not for the Titans.
Oh, okay.
Breaking sports news on 104.5 The Zone.
Jalen Polk, Patriots wide receiver, will miss the entirety of the 2025 season due to a shoulder injury that requires surgery. He's last year's second-round pick for them. Saw multiple specialists. This is Jordan Schultz reporting. And surgery was determined to be the best course of action with the goal of being fully healthy for 2026. He kind of fell out of favor real fast with them in his rookie season.
And there were three of them, right? They drafted, his name is escaping me, out of UCF, but they drafted Polk, they drafted him, and then they had Butte later.
Keyshawn Butte.
They had three wide receivers, and really Butte was the one that flashed the most out of all of those three. So tough break for a second-round pick who definitely had the opportunity to make a new impression.
Javon Baker.
Javon Baker, right. Yes. Former Alabama receiver, right? Transferred to Alabama to go to UCF?
Oh, why did I think it was Ole Miss? It was Alabama. You're right. You are right. You always are. Speaking of potentially significant injuries, this is potentially more significant, though the severity of it is not as clear as what you just read with Polk. Lions center Graham Glasgow exited practice early today, and he's being evaluated for a lower leg injury. He is obviously replacing Frank Ragnow.
Right, that's tough. They drafted Tate Ratledge out of Georgia, I believe in the third round, but I don't know if Tate...
Wasn't Glasgow previously playing guard for them? Like, he's been on the roster.
Yes, they slid him into center after the Ragnow retire.
A lot of moving parts and pieces in Detroit.
They have one of the worst injury lucks. Like, them and the Dolphins this year, we hadn't even played a real game yet, and it's just like the walking wounded. They're already coming in with just a number of injuries.
How long before people start criticizing Dan Campbell's practice habits?
I think that's already happening on Detroit Twitter, but I only have little samples.
So we will be joined by Nate Washington here in just a minute, and we will keep an eye out for him in the Zoom, Robert, at your convenience. But with the rest of these guys who are trying to earn roster spots, and we'll get into that in greater detail tomorrow, and we'll talk about that with Coach Dave McGinnis. I did think it was interesting that Cameron Ward was asked yesterday about how he is preparing for his first to be a part of, even though he's not going to get cut, to be a part of the roster cuts in the NFL for the first time. And then he was specifically asked about Restrepo. Like, I think Corey Curtis asked him the question about, do you talk to Restrepo at all about that? He didn't go into the Restrepo part of things, but I thought that he's got a lot of good context for a player that just got here. You know what I'm saying? Or a lot of good perspective, maybe the context.
Yeah, he talks like a vested veteran.
Well, Nate Washington is our version of a vested veteran around here and provides good nuance and context anytime we try to have football conversations. Nate, buddy, how we living? Everything go well with the appointment earlier today? We medically cleared for the upcoming season?
I wish. Shoot, the way they passing out money these days. But yeah, everything's clear, man. I'm still out here, but I pulled to the side, make sure I found me some space to have a talk with you guys.
Well, we appreciate you jumping on. So let's start with the wide receivers that we got to see, the young wide receivers that the world got to see for the first time in earnest in the preseason game down in Atlanta. Nate, they kept Ridley and Lockett off the field because they're trying to get a greater or more reps, as many reps as possible, with these 3 fourth-round pass catchers that they have. Is there something about Alec Ayaminer or Chimere Dike that caught your attention, or is there another name that you were interested in watching that you ended up liking when you went back and watched that game?
Well, I think all of the young guys have been doing a pretty good job of trying to make some plays, but Alec has been the one that stood out to me the most. I think he has very, very skilled NFL technique at this point. And it's obvious that he's been training, whatever he's been doing and preparing himself for this moment, he's been training with the right people because they got him looking like NFL ready right now. And obviously, I think it's just going to be a understanding and a learning curve process for him to make his way through learning defenses, learning the speed of the game and those things. But he's shown me some good things about route running. He's him getting in and out of his break has been very elite, as a young guy. I think him understanding speed concepts and learning how to control those things have been good. And he's been reliable. I don't think I've seen him drop any balls this preseason. So I'm really looking forward to, his ability and what he's able to do on the other side of those veterans in that room.
Yeah, and that's something that I think has come along pretty quickly for him in training camp, Nate, because I was watching him with Derek Mason, former Titans wide receiver, who I know you know well, and D. Mace was pointing out some of what he considered to be extra or almost wasted motion as he was starting out, as he was getting into his breaks and things like that was causing him to be less efficient with his movement. And this was early in camp, to be less efficient with his movement than he might have otherwise been. And it sounds like that's something you've noticed that at least he's been able to refine when you watch him.
Yeah, definitely. I think a lot of these young guys are doing this. As we spoke last week, I was in Tiffin University for their camp. And, I was telling a lot of those young guys, all of that stuttering at the line you guys are doing and all of that dancing you guys are doing because you're watching these social media videos are setting you back. I think a lot of them don't understand. You have to, when you're relating drill work to real life, you have to be able to take that drill work to the field. And those stuttering patterns of, not getting into your route and then at the top of your route doing all of the dancing because it looks good for a social media video. Well, in real life, there's a quarterback that's waiting on you to get to a specific spot at a specific time. And I think they need to understand that everything is timing, everything has a purpose. And when they begin to understand those things, then that's when they become better. That's kind of what I spoke on earlier about him understanding the speed of the game. A lot of this thing is timing. It's not just about looking cute and running the most beautiful route sometimes. Sometimes it's getting in and out of the route and getting to the route that's going to be a help for that quarterback.
Nate Washington, former Titans, former Steelers wide receiver, on with us for his weekly appearance, talking a little ball.
Nate, obviously when you were playing, it was still 4 preseason games, and I doubt you played very much in that final one by the time you were an established starter. But we know, Brian Callahan says, to expect some starters to play this weekend. As a starter, as an established player that knows he's going to get some snaps in that final preseason game, what are you looking to accomplish?
Oh, man, a lot. I'm glad you brought this up because, the whole preseason concept in itself has changed so drastically since the time that I played. And I hate to, become that old head that's grumpy and things like that. But I feel like it has a purpose. Preseason has a purpose. Those in-game reps are very, very purposeful. During this time, last game of the preseason, if I had an opportunity to go out there and get reps as a starter, I'm going through the whole motion. I'm not only am I, going into the stretching and the pregame as with a different focus. But, as I'm getting ready for the game, I'm starting to feel like it's a real Sunday. I'm telling myself this is a real Sunday. This is a real go. Driving to the stadium, I'm putting myself in, killer mode or whatever mode I have to be in a regular season to prepare myself. So there's a full process that comes along with getting ready for a regular season game. And one thing that I've learned along my journey of the NFL and becoming older in that journey was that, the more serious you take those things in practice, the more when it's time to do it, the more it's easier to do. The more you're capable of feeling like it's practice when it's showtime and the lights on because you actually treated practice like a game. So, whatever reps that they get tomorrow evening is going to be significant for our starters. I don't care if it's a series or 2 series. They need to take those things seriously. As we know, the NFL stands for not for long, and I don't care whether it's the 3rd preseason game or the 2nd regular season game. At any given moment, it can be your last due to injury, and you have to understand that. So to be able to go out and put some good things on film and have something to build off of, I think is significant for those veterans.
What are you hoping to see from Cam in his last preseason outing before his rookie year?
Just control of the offense. I'm not expecting anything spectacular from Cam. More than anything, I would love, a smooth operation, being able to get in and out the huddle, being able to be clear with his drops and his first reads. And if he's able not to hit this first read, to go through his progression, But, mistakes will be made. And I think people need to understand that. Mistakes will be made along the way. I know he's a first-round draft pick, very great talent. But, there's growing pains in this situation. And there's very few guys that are able to come into the league from college and be successful immediately, especially at that position. He's going to touch the ball every play, obviously. And there's a lot of growing pains that'll come with that. But of all things, I believe in his attitude. I believe in his confidence. I believe in his leadership, and I don't believe those things to sway. So I'm excited about what he's able to bring to the table. And just tomorrow night, I'm looking for a smooth operation more than great plays. If those great plays happen, then, hey, that's the cherry on the cake. But for me personally, just a smooth operation in and out the huddle and make sure he's keeping those guys on track with first, second, and third down would be great for me.
Nate, this man just got to the league. He talks like a 45-year-old man. He's at the preseason press conference last week. Jimmy Wyatt asked him about, he's excited to get back, see his dog. He's got a dog that he loves a lot. And he's talking about the fact he was watching his dog tear stuff up on a Ring camera, and that dog's getting an ass whipping when he gets home. Like, he talks like an old head.
Yeah, man. Well, that's a great thing, though, man, especially with today's era with these kids with social media, man. You kind of get a great talent and get lost because they get caught up in the wrong things. But it's obviously he's grounded, he's focused, he understands his situation, he understands his opportunity. And, man, oh, man, what a time to be a Titans fan, man. You finally got a leader in there that's going to do some great things for this organization, and I'm looking forward to it.
We look forward to our weekly visits with Nate Washington. Buddy, thanks for stopping by, and we'll look forward to catching up again next week.
I can't wait, fellas. Thanks for having me as always.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Nate.
That's Nate Washington with us on 104.5 The Zone. Some good insight and analysis there. Stop doing that.
Love you.
Never stop doing that. Remember when 3HL had Cam Ward on right after he was drafted? And Slay put him in the boom boom room, and he asked him if you could have dinner with 3 people, dead or alive, from across history, who would they be?
Oh, I don't remember this.
The first 2 names out of Cam Ward's mouth, Martin Lawrence and Larry Bird. I was like, all right, yeah, this kid is...
He's 100 years old.
This kid's different.
The third one was Kirby.
I can't remember who the third one was, but probably Michael Jordan.
I thought it was another comedian. Like maybe it was Eddie Murphy.
It might have been.
I will have to ask Brandon
Dinner with Martin Lawrence and Eddie Murphy would be.
Oh, it would be incredible. Almost as good as Dinner with Kirby, who will join us before polls to tell us his mysterious story. I have confirmed that he will be a guest. You are welcome.
Oh, I thought you were doing a break to go to tease to go to break.
We'll be back next.
The tick. The Tennessee Men's Clinic is here to help you, and they've been helping guys who are dealing with erectile dysfunction for over a decade. Since 2014, the Tennessee Men's Clinic has been working to find different treatment paths that makes the most sense for the individual. No one size fits all is what they offer, like so many other places that you might seek help from. And it can be incredibly frustrating. It can impact your relationships, your mental health, and even your sense of identity. Whether you're dealing with mild or moderate ED, performance issues, or even conditions like Peyronie's disease, their medical team will work with you to create a plan that gets results, often with options most men didn't even know were out there. So visit them online at thetennesseemensclinic.com. That's thetennesseemensclinic.com, or call at 615-208-9090. Welcome back to the show, fueled by Hattie B's Hot Chicken. Okay, so normally last call for phone calls is exclusive to the audience, but there's something lingering on the guest line. Smells like cigarettes all of a sudden. And it's not just because Robert just went out and ripped one. Apparently, Allen Kirby is there waiting in the wings. Kirby, are you with us?
I am. That was quite the introduction.
I'm good for very few things in the world, Kirby, but an introduction I can do.
And he's gone?
Hello. I'm right here.
We got him.
All right. So regale us with this story that you could not wait to tell us about until the Titans yanked the training camp broadcast rug out from under us.
Hard. But, okay. So Monday, I'm exhausted. We leave camp. It was an extremely hot day out there. I think everyone would agree. Come home, knocking stuff around. So I'm going to take a nap. Well, about the time I doze off, my phone goes off. My frantic neighbor lady, who's a little physically challenged as far as from health purposes, causes and stuff, there's a giant snake in her laundry room. So I give her, be there in a minute, walk across, go in, and it's kind of a cramped space, but she wasn't kidding. So there's this enormous snake over in the corner, and I pretty quickly assessed that, okay, he's not venomous, but he was enormous, and I had taken a garden tool with me, and I'm trying to coax him into a pillowcase so I can get him out of there.
What are you, Steve Irwin, with a pillowcase and a garden tool?
What kind of snake, Herb?
Well, it's kind of, I guess, it's kind of like a possum snake. What it does is it'll puff its head up behind its eyes to make it look like it's venomous and shake its tail like a rattlesnake. But that's to scare some, I guess, predators off. But then when it's really, really comes down to the nitty gritty, it will literally pass out and roll over on its back and act like it's dead. But they can be kind of aggressive. So, like, her dog had been out. She'd let the dogs out. She was going to let them back in. Goes back in there to open the door, and boom, there's this snake. And so the dogs were waiting outside to get in. They were getting a little restless, and I was so close to having him just go in the pillowcase kind of a thing when the lab decided he was coming in, which the snake then tried to bolt. So he shoots across the room, and he's going underneath the washing machine. So I take a stab. I grab him. I've got about a foot and a half of tail in my hand. It becomes a tug of war. I swear to God, I've never realized how strong these dudes were. And I've been around snakes a lot, but not the dangerous kind. But anyway, it's like a tug of war. So I get him out from underneath the washing machine, at which point he's cut himself. So I get him back over on this one corner where it's kind of flat and open. And bam, he nails me right on the ankle. Just sinks him in there. And in the process of trying to get out of his way, step on his head.
Oh.
Didn't kill him. So anyway, he's a lot more calm at that moment, and I thought I had injured him. I'm like, oh shit. Oh, excuse me. I'm like, heck.
Kirby,
come on, man.
Kirby.
I thought I'd killed him. But he survived. I bring him over. I'm trying to identify him and so forth. And I come back in the shop. He's laying out there. He's laying on my this work table I've got outside. I think he's dead. I come in the hut, grab a Pepsi, and go back out there to take more pictures of him, and he's gone.
And he's gone.
Yeah. Sorry about the slip there. But yes, this guy's about 6.5 feet. I'll send you a couple of pictures. The first one is what I was looking at when I walked through the door. The second one is of him laying on the work table outside of my shop. But yeah, I had to go to the hospital. Well, the doctor's saying you get a shot. He's got medications, antibiotics and stuff, but it's not healed. I had my last walk-in appointment today to have them take a look at it.
So you're okay?
You're okay?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I finished doing other stuff the rest of the day. It wasn't that big of a deal, but it was like, of all of the encounters I've had in my life with snakes, some bad, scary ones and some just regular snakes, never once was bitten or even, well, I mean, I've been just at and struck out a couple times and missed but from a distance, but I mean, this dude just laid it. I mean, just bam and locked on. And as a result, I had the 2 marks where he got me. and then a scrape mark from where I guess I ripped him off of me when I jerked my leg out of the way. But yeah, it was lightning quick.
Fantastic.
All right, I need you to take a picture and send it to the group text that we're all in, and we will. We're glad to know that you're okay. All right, bud.
Oh, I'm fine. Be mowing the lawn later today.
All right, love you, Kirby.
Mowing the lawn later today. Don't step on any more snakes.
Fantastic.
Oh, what? It was a little bit bigger than a phone booth. It wasn't like I had a lot of room. Anyway.
All right, love you. Bye.
Thanks, Kirby.
Yep.
Robert got in my ear. One, how many years has he been doing radio to cuss on the air?
He's so nonchalant.
Sorry about the slip. Kirby!
Also, I think that whole story was fake. I think he went over there and provided that woman a service she hadn't had in a long time.
Or you think the snake was his?
Yes, I think Kirby.
Come on.
Kirby was like, wasn't a big space, but I had to make it work. He's like, oh yeah, it puffs up to make it look like it's venomous. Yeah, we all know what you're talking about, Kirby. That's
Polls,
okay.
please.
What that poll or Kirby's?
Yeah. That's what Kirby told that woman.
Oh, the idea of Kirby having sex. Oof.
Presented by Two Rivers Ford, the South's most trusted Ford dealer. Who do you not need to see play Friday for the Titans? Steve says Pollard. John, Brian, also a lot of people saying Pollard. Karen says Jeff.
I would like to distance Two Rivers Ford from what we just did during the segment.
No, you don't get to do that. Two Rivers Ford poll. Who is the most tradable asset on the Titans besides Jeffrey Simmons? Davey says Van Jefferson, best hands in the league. Okay, well, that's just mean. Daniel says Amani Hooker. Taylor says Chig.
Just keep it moving.
Will Joey Aguilar's 2025 season be better, worse, or the same as Nico's 2024? 40.6% saying better. Optimism there. 32.3% say the same. 27% say worse.
He just texted us, here you go, without the picture.
He was really bragging about it. Everybody stepped on it.
Does Derrick Rose deserve to have his number retired by the Bulls? I don't know if
we didn't get
y'all
to that.
saw this, but 52% are saying no.
52% of people are wrong.
Yeah, Derrick Rose was a god.
He didn't win a championship, though.
That's
probably
fine.
one of the most impressive rookies of all time.
So you don't think so? It's not like a requirement to win a championship to have your number retired in your mind.
Number retired? No.
Okay. Gotcha.
Just to build a statue to players that don't win a championship, like the one that exists at 501 Broadway.
You can build a statue, whoever the hell you want. Those are the polls.
That's the show.
High school football tonight, Beach Green Hill on My TV 30. See y'all there.
Yeah, I hope the Marconi people aren't listening to this part.
Yeah, why are we up for any kind of award?
It's in spite of us, not because of us.
I would agree with that assessment. See you tonight.
Work. It's what we do. Part of who we are. There is joy in work. And no matter what size your business is, the dedicated commercial team at Two Rivers Ford will find the work trucks and vans that keep your business moving. And Two Rivers is the only dealer that offers a 90-day free fleet management program that can help you save money on every single mile. The Commercial Vehicle Center at Two Rivers Ford. We work for you.